Madness Podcast, the best of the underground. Big Madness, your ritual.
Hey, what's up, folks? Ritual Madness Podcast. Hanging out up in this piece. Yeah, can you hear yourself? You breathing heavy, doing all that happy shit. Thank you for joining us. It's Friday evening, Super Bowl weekend. If you give a shit, we're here in the Twin Cities, and there's a million motherfuckers on here. And go ahead. Are you there?
Nope.
There
Yep.
you are. All right.
There he is.
Now I know where you're.
There he is.
All right. So
There he is.
yeah, like I was saying, Super Bowl weekend, the fucking stupid Eagles and the stupid Patriots,
7 points.
Yeah. So we're here in the tundra. It's cold as fuck in Minnesota right at this particular moment. If you're listening, you're probably listening from Minnesota, so you know how cold and how much shrinkage is real here in the Twin Cities. And so I appreciate you tuning in. Again, you're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast. Do me a favor. This is episode 171. Music talk with Brother Jason. Do me a favor, go to ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you'll connect with us on a multitude of links: iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I've got a bunch of YouTube videos up there, and I've been getting some subscriptions up there, and I do appreciate you guys subscribing to the YouTube channel. I'm going to start doing some more personalized things now that I've got some camera stuff figured out and a different program.
Exposing yourself.
Yeah, I'm exposing myself. Some personal exposure. Is this a dinker ball? Which one is it? So again, check us out on YouTube. Do me a favor, download the Listen to My Radio app. That's LISTN, the number 2, My Radio. Search Ritual Madness Podcast in the search bar and bookmark it every time you can do that. And you can listen to the station, check us out live on the shows, and that you can do that on your space phone, on your smartphones. And I know they're real smart these days. They're real smart. So make sure that you
How smart are they?
They're very smart. They can do smart things, all kinds of smart things. So yeah, listen to the radio station. A lot of cool stuff on there. Lots of metal, lots of local metal, national, some rap, some punk rock, and some comedy, all that other good stuff. If you shop Amazon, do me a favor, click the Amazon banner, bookmark it as your own. Every time you buy something off of Amazon, it kicks us back a couple pennies at no cost to you. Below there's a little donation link. Please click the donation link. Donate at your leisure. That would be great. Keep the lights on. Keep things going. I know I've made many jokes in the past about me using the money for drugs. I promise I'll only use a little bit for drugs, but not all of it. I will pay my bills. I've been doing this for 6 years, so now I know that I got to pay the bills, because if not, well, because I had my internet shut off, and and you guys weren't able to listen to me live. You had to listen to the shit like old school days where I had to upload it and you had to download it, and there was all kinds of loading going around. And anyways,
Loads.
Yeah. If you're in a band or you have friends that are in bands, please submit your stuff to ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. That's ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, check out my friend's tattoo shop, the official tattoo shop of Ritual Madness Podcast, the Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective, run by my buddy Jason Del Castillo, 3500 Minnehaha Avenue, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 612-353-4755. Give them a shout. Get yourself a tattoo and show some love to some guys who, Jason really supports the show, has been on the show a few times, and he always donates gift cards to our functions.
He does.
Our NYDM functions and our shows at Lee's Liquor Lounge. And do me a favor, check out dotwpod.com. That's the Disciples of the Watch podcast, another local podcast. A couple good guys, Gene Vogel and Nate Matnich, do a great job. They interview and they do reviews, and they do a lot of cool shit. So check them out, dotwpod.com. Also, Fresh Air Radio's KFAI, The Root of All Evil, and The Roar of the Underground. Check out both of those shows on Fresh Air Radio's KFAI.com. I know that they have all their shows in podcast form where you can actually download them and all that other good stuff. Speaking of Lee's Liquor Lounge, I've got some shows coming up at Lee's Liquor Lounge. We've been doing these for, 2 years now, I think it has been?
Something like that.
Yeah. On February 17th, Mortificator, Krog, Mastiff, Daigoro and Beauty of Decay, which is
the Grandpa Metal Show.
Yep, the Grandpa Metal Show.
Sponsored by AARP.
Yep,
The
AARP.
Old Country Buffet.
Yep, Old Country Buffet. What is it?
Bengay.
Metamucil.
And Metamucil,
Yep,
yeah. Some big names
Yeah,
there.
big names. They got involved. They want us to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Since I'm right on the cusp of AARP, anyways.
I believe there's nap time with Cannibal Rob that day. Yeah.
That will be earlier in the day. I think he'll go live with that one. We're just fucking snoring in the background. So, anyways, that's February 17th. It's 8 p.m. Doors, 9 p.m. start. $7 at the door. 18 plus. That's going to be a good show. And then shortly after that, in March, we're going to be doing one March 10th and the 24th. 10th is actually set in stone here. We've got Mordrat's CD release with Ghost Hook, Invidiosis, and Graveslave. That one is an 18 plus show as well. $7 cover. 8:30 doors. 9 p.m. show start. $2 Jack and Cokes with all the Lee shows that we do, and $3 Tall Boy PBRs. Again, that's February 17th and March 10th at Lee's Liquor Lounge over on Glenwood there. Another show we got coming up here, the Minneapolis Menagerie 2018 at Eagles 34 over just right, it's like right off of Lake Street at it's right by Memory Lanes over there in Minneapolis. 2 stages of bands. Bongzilla's coming to town. Let me see here. We've got United Teachers of Music, Red Desert, Wolf Blood, Night Asor, Cantharone, Grave Dirt, and Intertoil is on that one. And a little shameless self-promotion for myself. May 8th, Tuesday. That's a Tuesday, motherfuckers, but still, you want to get down there. Soulfly is coming to town with Nile. My band Outside the Murder is playing, and you can get tickets through us either via Facebook or hit me up on Facebook as well. So Outside the Murder, Mastiff, and Fabricated Lie. Pre-sale tickets are $25, $28 at the door, I believe, isn't it?
Yeah, $25 in advance and $28
I've got
at the door.
Info in front of me, but I'm a moron and can't read. 18 plus show. That's a Leo's Present deal, and when you buy tickets from the local bands, it really helps us solidify spots on these big shows. And it's kind of one of those things around town that people are up in arms about because they think that you're paying to play, which you're actually not paying to play. You're actually stepping up to sell the tickets for the show itself. And yeah, maybe he's making money off of it. Maybe he doesn't pay the bands. I don't fucking know. I'm going to jump in the fucking pool head first and give it a shot, see what's going on. I got to sell a bunch of tickets. I know Gooch has sold a bunch. I raffled off a couple at the last Lee's Liquor Lounge show. Who knows? Maybe I'll do it again on the 17th of this month. I'm going to
scalp out front of the fucking venue the day of.
Right, just to make sure.
I got two.
Yeah. I got two. Hey, you buying tickets? You looking? I'm selling, buying, selling. That kind of deal. So, yeah. Anyways, episode 171, Friday, Super Bowl fucking weekend, hanging out with my brother Jason. A little backstory. Jason and I have known each other since I was about 13. We were fucking. I moved to town.
That's how we met.
From Minneapolis to Vadnais Heights, and we had a mutual friend that lived in the trailer court where I lived, and Jason and Sticks were good buddies, and you guys were hitting golf balls, weren't you? Weren't you hitting golf balls that day or something?
We were up to something that was no good for sure.
So we were all hanging out, and we ended up becoming friends after me being an asshole to him, and we became good friends. And I lived with him and his father for a while, and we've been friends for fucking what? Well, I'm 30
years.
Well, yeah, 32 years. 32 years.
Well, for you, that's only been 30 for
Yeah. So it's been a long time. So we've been together at a ton of different shows. I've considered Jason my brother, and his brothers, Vince and Terry and Jeff, and his whole family has really taken me in as a part of their family. I didn't grow up with a dad, so Jason's dad really kind of took me in and allowed me to stay with him. And he always said I was his only Mexican son, which was fucking hilarious. So we got into a lot of fucking trouble when we were kids. We did a lot of crazy shit. So I'm sure some of the stories will come out, but there's no real what do they call that when you can't get in trouble for the shit? What is it? What the fuck do they call that shit?
I don't know. I'm sure it's a wonderful story, but we only have 3 hours, so we couldn't possibly cover all of the shenanigans that we've we've,
I can't remember what the
embarked
fuck
on
they
over
call the
years,
goddamn
but
shit, yeah.
there was a lot of good times. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
so it's been a fun journey, man. I remember the day in the 5-star mobile estates.
Yeah, the estates. Yeah.
When we first met, and it was an eye-opening experience. But I mean, it was a foundational piece of my life because I obviously had found one of my best friends instantly.
Yeah.
And then the journey just
Yeah,
started
we were
from there.
we were frickin' frack for fucking ever,
Oh,
man.
for sure, dude. We were joined at the hip.
He's like herpes, you kid.
Yeah,
Right? I know. I tried to-
Reoccurring outbreaks.
Yeah, pretty much.
I applied the cream and all that stuff. And we're still there.
We shared
God
Veltrex for a
bless.
while.
Yeah,
Half a pill each.
that's love.
Dude, only one side itches right now. Well, it's better than all sides. Yeah.
Bumpy.
Yeah, yeah. We've seen some stuff together. I think one of my fondest memories was that first Slayer show that we went to.
Oh, right. Yeah, in the back of the 1970
Chevy fucking
rust-colored Chevy.
Chevy Sierra, or what was it? What the hell was it? A Chevy. It was gold, right? It was gold. The golden
a full-size half-ton pickup. It was, it was
Yeah,
a very sturdy vehicle.
yeah.
About
Tripping on
10,000 pounds
LSD.
of steel, but it was.
Yeah.
I just remember we popped out of there at the end of the journey that night.
Statue of limitations. That's what I was looking for. I could not. The
That'll
statue.
come in handy tonight for sure.
So yeah, that was one of my very first like heavy shows that I was able to see. I remember Jeff got us tickets, or
Right, yep.
his older brother Jeff, who
Hold on, I'm pulling up my legal Zoom dot.
everybody called him Smiley because he refused to smile and he was just a grumpy old fucker. He smiles a little bit now, but Jeff was one of the heaviest fucking dudes I had ever met in my entire life. Wait, listen right here. Listen to this. And he was one of them dudes that always pointed out the heaviest shit, the heaviest parts. I remember him drinking a bottle of fucking Jose Cuervo and being up all night and sitting on the edge of the bed, and you look over, I'm not going to listen to that again, and you're fucking dead asleep, and he would not let me sleep. He kept it, hey, Greg, right, and he hit me, and right there, listen to that, and then fucking he'd pretend like he's falling asleep. He'd just close his eyes, and he'd just be headbanging, and then all of a sudden, he's fucking lose his shit.
He's the only person I ever met that could sleep standing up somehow. It was insane, but he had this stamina of 1,000 horses, man. He could just go and go and go. And I just look at him like, man, you've got to drop eventually. But
Yeah.
he never did.
No.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And he's still kicking. I mean, not to that extent.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah, no
But,
shit. Man.
yeah, it's, you and Vince and Terry and Jeff were all the kind of the landmark folks in my music journey.
Yeah.
Up to this point. It's been, so all over the board in terms of different styles of music that I've.
Well, listen, let's talk about the old man because he was an interesting character when it came to music because he was he was an old cat who fucking loved all kinds of music,
Everything.
jazz and fucking man. There's a cat at work that listens to Depeche Mode and all this weird shit. And just the other day, fucking D-Light comes on, fucking Groove is in the Heart. And I'm like, instantly, I was
Right.
like,
Yep.
dude, my fucking stepdad was up boogieing to that shit, He'd just be kicking
All
it.
the
Bootsy
time.
Collins,
Yeah,
man.
dude.
Shit.
It was all over the map, man. I mean, you go from funk to jazz to R&B to
J.J.
that's-
Cale and fucking
Yeah, everything. I mean,
Clapton and
folk and rock, and I mean, it was everywhere, and that's what kind of opened my mind to the different types of music. But that's also kind of where I started to really fall in love with hip hop because he would let me play it. You know what I mean? He didn't hear it, and he wasn't that parent. It was like, oh, you got to shut that off.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, let's see what this is all about.
Sure.
And he let you play it out, and he always found it amusing when we'd rap to the songs.
right.
A couple of crazy white kids or a
Right.
white kid and a Mexican trying to follow along with
Right?
NWA or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that'd crack him up.
Yeah.
I thought it was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So, it just kind of liberated my mind as to
Yeah.
all the different kinds of music that
Sure.
were out there. But I mean, I owe him a lot in that regard because he he played it all. I mean, Marvin Gaye,
Yeah.
and, he's got this craziest Andreas Vollenweider, this big Swedish dude with a harp, and I mean, he was all over the map. And it was
There was always
good.
music in the house. I remember that. I mean,
think-
especially on the weekends, but there'd be days during the week where he would just turn that shit up and he'd just be cleaning and
well, that
fucking
stereo
doing-
was legendary,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
The whole Yamaha Nakamichi setup. And
Yeah. And the
speakers
handmade
in every corner of the house.
yeah, the handmade fucking record player.
turntable.
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, that's kind of where it all started.
That I was hanging out with your cousin Jackie for a while too, like quite a bit, like hanging out with her and her people over there at her
Right.
place and shit. And we would get into stories about the old man and how, you know, her dad Bruce was, you know, because I remember, you know, Big Bruiser fucking
Yep, for sure.
he used to be over there all the time, and then, you know, they'd be all working out and listening to music in the garage and fucking
Mm-hmm.
these guys were just beasts when I was a kid. I remember going to your place and me and Sticks had to sit outside. We weren't even allowed in the house. It's like you'd go in and you'd do your chores and then you'd be able to come out and hang with us, you know. But we'd be sitting out on the stoop throwing fucking playing fetch with Buck and
Right. Yep.
and Misty, I think it was, wasn't it?
Right.
And fucking those Springer Spaniels, dude, and that was it, man. That's as far as we could go. And then it was like the old man slowly started to trust us.
Right.
All right, you guys can come in for a little bit, but just a little bit, you know.
Your time, yeah. 10 minutes are up.
Yeah.
Get out.
yeah. Fucking. As far as music though, like with your brothers, man, they were on a whole nother level, man. When it came, I mean,
Especially Vince, man.
Yeah.
He was just all over the board, which was amazing because he and I obviously clicked on that pretty well. I mean, Terry and Jeff, they're a little more. They kind of stuck to the metal side of things
right.
a little bit more,
Yep.
not exclusively, obviously, but Vince, he didn't care, man. He'd throw anything on.
Yeah.
We'd jam. Now we'd be down in his basement when he was over in Cleveland or wherever he lived.
the Earl and Case place
Earl
too.
and Case, yep. Be down in the basement just flipping records nonstop.
Dude, that
all night
fucking
long.
house would just be bumping, dude. You'd show up at like
You
fucking.
could hear the windows rattling
Yeah.
from a block away.
Yeah.
It was insane.
What was the place over in Northeast off Stinson over there? That place too. He'd
Yep.
be bumping the fuck out of that. Now, these guys had collections. I mean, your dad had a record collection of the gods, dude. It was just fucking, you know, we're naming some of the names like Soul to Soul and D-Light and, you know, fucking Miles Davis records. And I mean, he had everything, man. I remember going through those records and just being in awe because my mom had a huge record collection at one time too. So when I saw that, it was like I was home. You know what I mean? Like this was home for me. That musical fucking influence was all over the place for me.
Well, it was fun because you go through them and you'd be like, what the hell is it? I've never even heard of these people. But then you'd flip them on and kind of navigate around some of these records a little bit. And then you start finding some stuff you like. You're like, all right, I'm feeling it. And
Well, I heard Jeff Buckley's dad. What was his? Because your dad had some Buckley, some of Jeff Buckley's dad shit. I can't remember his fucking name.
Tim?
Tim Buckley.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. And
Yep.
he had a bunch of those, and J.J. Cale, and fucking. You know, he had so much just rare shit too, man. You know, a ton of jazz that I'd never heard of. You know, I mean, Vince was the same way too, man. Vince was fucking. He had so many records. I remember asking Vince, "You got this record?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sure I got it." He's like, "I've got shit." I mean, Terry. Well, all of them had said that to me in one time or another. I'm sure I got it. I probably just haven't listened to it yet.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and that all became even more apparent after Vince passed. God rest his soul. But when everybody was going through his things that he left behind,
Right.
the albums was the one thing that nobody really had any idea what to do with.
Right.
And he had a lot of other stuff, but I mean, he just had thousands of albums,
Right.
which is just
Yeah.
unheard of. And they're still around, but just to collect that many albums over the course of 20 years.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I would
But,
love to see that.
Oh my gosh.
Unfucking dude, he had one whole
Taking
room.
weeks.
He had a fucking like an attic room that was slanted fucking ceilings and shit, and it was wall to wall. There was fucking
Thousands.
stacks of them, dude, and it was
And that's a non-biased fucking music lover right
yeah,
there.
dude, it was all over the place.
That's awesome.
I mean,
That's it,
you can
dude.
imagine Chick Corea, any kind of jazz you can imagine, because he was a drummer too, right? You know,
Yeah.
so he was a phenomenal fucking drummer, and he loved everything. He loved fucking Bad Brains. He loved punk rock. He loved metal. He loved fucking jazz. I mean, he was all over the board. Rap. I mean, some of the rap shit that
Everything.
I had ever heard was from Vince. You know, he just fucking come in, and the Ghetto Boys was one that he, you know, he'd always be fucking, you know, whipping it out. Yeah, he'd always do that shit too, man. You know,
Die, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Yep.
E40, all that stuff.
Yeah,
He liked
dude.
all that super dramatic
Yeah.
hip hop.
And Bootsy Collins, dude, he loved Bootsy
fucking
Collins.
Collins,
He would
man.
always fucking
Everybody should love Bootsy.
say, "Yep."
Collins.
You know, dude, you'd hear Vince say that shit. Bombs away, baby, dude. That shit, he would do it all the time. Like, what was Bootsy? That was one of his things. He'd do that, you know, at a metal show. He'd be going, man,
Yeah,
you
and
heard
he was
that?
a staunch Prince
Yeah.
supporter too. I mean,
Yeah.
he could probably tell you the lyrics to every Prince song that was ever written.
Yeah.
So I mean, he was all over, but he'd flip on some records that were, you know, he had such an eclectic taste of
Yeah.
things that he'd flip on something, and at first you'd listen to it, you're like, what the hell is this? But then you'd start to kind of feel it a little bit.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he just had that soul about him that was always kind of enlightening.
Well, he's always
Others.
banging on his chest. He was always banging on his chest, like.
Like he was playing drums.
Yep, I remember we started doing that, you know,
Right.
just fucking tapping
it's
away on
contagious.
it. Yeah, it really was, man. And he was banging on something all the time.
Always.
He was
Drove me
one of
nuts.
those drummers where I remember watching him play a full kit, but then he would take that full kit and break it down to a trap kit where it's
Ah.
just a snare
Ah.
and a hi hat and a kick drum, and he would fuck that shit up too, man. It was just like, God damn.
His kit was super complicated. Had every cymbal and drum you could
Bell
think
and
of,
fucking
but he always
rototoms
did his
and-
best work on a little 5-piece type of
Yep,
setup where he would just
yep,
kind of be free and just let her buck.
yeah,
So that was always fun to watch.
yeah,
It was always fun to watch him drum either way, but
sure,
you know, it was a little more raw when he simplified it a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
He had that jazzy.
You guys always had a crazy dynamic too that I always appreciated. You were the little brother, you know, from a different mom. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you guys always watched out for each other. You guys were so fucking tight, man. And it was like, brother Jason, you know, you and I had gone to so many shows with these cats, man. You know, and it was like when we started getting bigger and like, you know, becoming men. You know what I mean? These guys were like. They just influenced us so much throughout the years, man. I've told Terry and Jeff this so many times, like they are the reason that I started playing music. And I mean, I'm still playing music. My first show was, you know, 16, 17 years old.
Sure.
I'm fucking 45 and I'm still playing.
Right.
But I credit to those guys and your dad and all them cats and you. I mean, how many times you and I, and I've said this on the podcast a million times, back in the day, it was so different when it came to music.
Right.
Because you and I would hear something, you know, maybe from one of the brothers, and we would listen to it, and it was like we would go out and try to find the best new thing, and we would try to turn each of the brothers onto it. Dude, we got this new album. Have you heard this yet?
I remember that.
And they would do it to us, and it was like back then, you know, and even with Bob Mandel, we'd do that. It was like,
Right.
dude, have you seen this cover? What is the name of that band? I don't fucking know, but you know, this shit is bad as fuck. Hexenhaus, remember Hexenhaus?
I do. I do.
Fucking, what were some other Midas Touch? That was
Touch
another
was
one.
Good. I remember when
The Nuclear Assaults. We went through Nuclear
Cannibal
Assault.
Corpse first came out,
Yep.
the artwork on that, we were just like, whoa,
Yeah.
just blown away.
That first
Our
Deicide,
obituary,
yep.
like slowly we rot and that kind of stuff was, it just blew my mind at
Yeah.
that time because it was so
When we could
cutting edge.
back
you know what I mean?
then, we could, you know, you could go to a record label. You know,
Right.
you could look for other titles on that record label. You knew that
Yeah.
they were signing bands that were
Roadrunner or
yeah,
whatever it
man,
might be.
Metal Blade, fucking Carolina.
Yeah,
You know,
if
I
you
mean,
didn't know what it was, you just flip it over and see if it was a Roadrunner record. You're like, all right, I'll give it a shot.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be all right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I discovered you know, like you said, Midas Touch. That's how we discovered that kind of band because it was just a label we knew.
yeah,
And we listened to it and we're like, whoa.
and they were giving it away.
They were. Literally.
Statute
They
of
didn't know
limitations
it. They didn't
does
know it.
apply right
Yeah.
here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
They
Dude,
had no idea.
I remember working at a record store. I won't say which one,
Right.
but I worked at a record store, and it was like I can say this about Vince because Vince is no longer here, and you can't put him in jail for the shit that we did. But these guys would come in, and I would tell them, go to my manager and talk to my manager. So one of them would go to the manager, and they'd talk to them, and they'd make up like Hexenfrost. it was Hex and Haas, but they would say Celtic Frost, and they would mix up the names, and they go, hey, have you ever heard of this? And they would get the manager to walk to one end of the thing. And throughout the day, if there were albums that I wanted or CDs that I wanted, I'd put in this one corner. So I would tell them, okay, all the ones I want are in this corner. You can have whatever you want. I don't see nothing.
Just make sure I get those.
Yep. As long as I get those, it's all good. Sure as shit, man. I'd go home and they'd be sitting there on the fucking table and they'd be like, dude, you got to see the haul we got. And it was like, it was a thing, man. It was a thing back then.
Right.
I honestly think that Vince may have put Musicland and all those other fucking record retailers. I honestly think that he's the reason Tower Records closed.
There's a good chance.
Because I mean, it was, and not to, it was all in good, I mean, it was all this experimentation.
For the
music,
love of music,
yeah,
man.
And being from from McDonough Projects and being where we were from, dude, when we were kids, there was no, like, we didn't get allowances. I mean, we did, but it wasn't like you could go and fucking have fun off the shit. We hustled as kids,
Yep.
Like there was, I couldn't get Guess jeans and Girbaud jeans. We just made them materialize somehow. You know what I mean? Like, one of the funniest stories is his brother Vince was dating this Kelly chick, and she was a sweetheart
Is
of
this
a
the
broad.
county seat story?
Yeah. So there was a county seat in Maplewood Mall. And she was the manager of the county seat. And we got it in our fucking heads that it would be okay. And that if we did end up getting caught for stealing fucking jeans, right, that Kelly was cool enough she would have never snitched us out. Well,
Wrong.
Kelly was
wrong.
was his brother's girlfriend, a fiance forever, right? So out of respect, we should have never went into her store to do any kind of stupid shit. So we came up with this idea. We used to have these big jackets, our second shifters, we called them, and we had zip tie, like they had elastic on the bottom, so that we would tighten the elastic on the bottom, and you'd be able to. It was the coats when they first started having liners in them. So you'd zip down the one liner and you just stuff the shit full of whatever you're getting, And after a while, it was obvious that this was our thing, So we would do, for clothes, we would put the fucking jacket over our shoulder, and we'd just take a pair of jeans and stick them under our arm and have the coat underneath our arm, and we would walk. I mean, dude, it worked a gajillion times. We walk out,
Except.
and fucking, was it you or I that
It was me.
it dropped, the pants dropped out of his fucking, how many pairs did you have? Like 3 or 4 pairs or something?
I only had one, but the problem was my coat actually fell forward. The jeans didn't go anywhere. The coat fell forward, and I was just walking out with these jeans like hanging out, pinched in my arm, and not hidden at all. And then Kelly came up to me. She's like, you want to give me those back? And I was like, yes, I do. I'm sorry. And then I got home, and she had already called my dad.
She called my mom.
Called my
She-
dad.
yeah, it was
I walked
bad.
in the door,
It was
he was sitting there.
bad.
I was
It
like,
was
oh,
bad. It was fucking bad.
So needless to say.
Yeah, we don't advocate any kind of
That
thievery.
put an end to that.
Yeah, yeah, we don't advocate any kind of thievery. But Carson Perry Scott, we would go and you'd have to buy bags to put your shit in. So like the big ones with the handles on them, we would go and spend 50 cents on those bags, and we would carry those bags empty. But we'd have our jackets over our shoulder and just stuff shit in the arms. And then we'd walk out of the store. We'd go to another store and we'd just take all the shit out of the arm and put it in the bag. And we would fill these bags up. I mean, full. There were times, dude, where we would jump over the counter and grab video games. And I mean, it was fucking retarded. The shit we did, and we didn't go to fucking jail. It was unbelievable.
Should have.
Yeah, many, many times. So don't steal, kids.
Yeah, that is the
So,
message here. Learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we were hustlers as kids, man. We really did hustle to get what we wanted, and we did it well. I think. I mean, we did stay out of jail for the most part.
The worst that happened was we made an ass out of ourselves.
Yeah.
Here and there, but
Yeah.
builds character.
Yeah.
I guess is what they say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we did some crazy shit, man. There's lots of stories. There's stories that I've already told on other podcasts,
Oh, I know.
The
I'm sure.
the dog nuts and all that other shit. I mean, this is the 3-ball
dog
night is
nuts.
on the podcast.
In
right
the
now.
house.
Yeah, in the house. So I want to ask you about Eric B. and Rakim, the first song that we came to, Follow the Leader.
Follow
Follow the Leader. Yeah. So what was your thinking in picking this particular one?
It's just one of the first songs I remember from from hip hop that I really connected with. I don't know if it was the militant tone of Rakim and the way he kind of threw
His
out,
delivery, yeah.
right. It's just the way he threw out his rhymes. Just kind of had a certain level of defiance to it, I guess.
Sure.
Which probably what I connected to when I was a teenage kid.
Sure.
Going through that phase of my life where I was.
I think I heard of Eric B. and Rakim from Derek and J Dub.
Wow, that's where I got a lot of my hip hop cues from.
Sure.
Because I don't know if you remember rolling around in the back of the banana boat
Oh,
listening
yeah.
to Tribe
Oh, yeah.
Called Quest over and over again.
The fucking
Through all
Monte Carlo.
hours of the night.
Yeah. Monte Carlo, baby.
Yep. Those were good times. So yeah, I would definitely credit those guys. For a
Derek
lot
was
of those-
a
a lot of those influences.
J Dub's little brother Derek was a top notch sneak thief. This dude was he was a kleptomaniac like the rest of us. Man, he had so much hip hop. I mean, I remember Kwame and fucking what was it, Third Base, the gas face, that shit, and fucking
Sure, Black Sheep.
yeah,
and
Black Sheep,
all that crazy stuff.
fucking Bismarcky, Big Daddy Kane is where I heard him from them guys before. I mean, there was a lot of shit, man, that I had got from them cats too, man. It was so weird, man. You ended up going to the Marines with J Dub.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. We were in the same boot camp together, actually. So that was quite of a experience for both of us. We actually spent time in Okinawa together too. So
Right.
we kind of expanded our musical horizons over there too, which
Yeah.
was
Seeing
a lot
both
of
you
fun.
guys walking through the streets. Oh no, look out! Godzilla!
Zero.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah, we
two big white boys running around causing ruckus.
they loved us over there.
I bet they
They were
did.
yes.
I bet they did.
We won't speak to the
Oh,
hospitality
Daniel-san.
of the Okinawans, but I can tell you, I assure you, it's there. Bless their hearts,
Yeah, bless their little hearts.
tiny hearts.
My question is, does it really go east to west?
I wish I could confirm that was true, but
Can confirm.
it's straight up and down.
Yeah, straight up and down. Like
They're all pink in the middle.
Well, let's take a fucking music break. We've got a little CeeLo Green, Getting Grown. We got some Easy E Boys in the Hood. We've got some Outcast. I don't even want to fucking try to pronounce that one. Go ahead, you know that one, right? Spotto Dipper.
Forty outy dopalicious.
Yeah, there we go. And we've got some Ice Cube, Bop Gun. We're going to take a listen to this, and we will be back to chit to the chat. So take a listen. I've been there.
Society itself is failing.
Damn, that was funky.
Hell yeah. Well, welcome back, folks. You're listening to Ritual Madness Podcast. We just fucking almost started a fire up in this bitch. I've had this...
Inconclusive.
Yeah, it's inconclusive. Yeah, the wolf shit is inconclusive.
I have my suspicions.
Yeah, I've had these fucking speakers and shit for like 20 years, and finally they just took a shit on me. So we had no in-house monitors, but we had our headphones, and that's what we were dancing around, grooving to getting down to the sound of the funk of it, you know.
Getting funky.
So we listened to a little CeeLo Green, Getting Grown. We listened to some Easy E Boys in the Hood, some Outcast, some
Spotty outy dopalicious.
Yep. And then we did some Bop Gun from Ice Cube up in there, a little mix with some George Clinton and P-Funk, the Funkadelics and all that other good shit. So I wanted to tell a story about the Outcast. It was Jason's birthday one year, and I was like, fucking, I'm going to get us some tickets to Area 51 at the Municipal Stadium over in St. Paul. And at this particular time, I was up to no good, causing a lot of trouble. And we used to do security at this club in Minneapolis, and they had a record release party. It was like a bunch of different record labels coming together, and it was a blast. It was super fun. And I had a bunch of drugs in my pocket, and I had these 2 tickets that I got for me and my brother to go see Outkast. It's one of our favorite groups of all time. And I'm like, it's his birthday. I'm going to get him tickets. We're going to go see the show. I don't even think I told you about the tickets until we went.
No, not till the final hour.
So there was a security guy that was like the head of security at this club, and I used to call him Chiclet Teeth. And he's a fucking big black dude, and he was just a fucking he was always dressed in a suit, but you could tell he was ghetto as fuck. You know what I mean? And this dude somehow found my car and knew that I kept my stash in my car. And I fucking came to my car one time after working a show with this fucking guy, and my car had just been ransacked. And he was the dude I saw out front of the fucking club. And
Was that the Quest?
yeah, it was the Quest. And so we go. I park my car. My car gets ransacked. I'm under the suspicion that this fucking dude knows what I'm up to, right? So we're at this party, and I've got a bag.
He knows what I'm up to.
I got this zipper bag, right, with a little bit of this, a little bit of that in it, and 2 tickets for my brother for his birthday to go see Outcast.
Paradise.
And yeah, exactly. And I fucking lose the bag.
Oh, I remember that.
And I walked up to this head of security and I said, listen, man, I dropped a bag and it's got some shit in it. I said, I don't give a fuck about whatever else is in there, but I bought 2 tickets, one for me and one for my brother. And he knew my
Paradise.
fucking brother, right? Yep. To Eddie Money to fucking Paradise, yes. And I said,
two
I
tickets.
I don't give a shit. Whoever finds them can keep whatever else is in there. I remember it was a ½ ounce of weed and some shit. So it was a bag full of goodness. You know what I'm saying?
Now you're just name dropping.
Yeah. So, anyways, I lose this fucking bag and I go up to this fucking guy and I tell him flat out because I know he knows what's up. Because every time I walk by, he had this look on his face like, nigga, I just got your ass, that kind of shit, you know? So, within like 10 minutes, he walks up to me and he hands me the sack, empty, but those 2 tickets, that's it. And he hands it to me and he goes, one of the guys found it, blah, 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 right? I mean, there's fucking a couple $100 worth of fucking
Sure
shit.
you did.
Yeah, exactly.
He
Tippity
probably,
tap.
he probably saved his glaucoma situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse me
Give
while I
a-
powder my nose.
Give me a little bit of that for my cataracts. But yeah, and then we went to see Outcast with Nelly Furtado. Incubus was there. Moby was there. They had a bunch of they had a ton of different like techno shits going on. It was Area 51 show. It was amazing.
Weird.
Outcast was kicking ass, taking fucking names, and we're standing in the crowd, and this fucking dude comes running through the crowd, just shoving people out of the way. And Jason is directly in front of this guy, and I'm like, I look at the fucking dude and I go, you better be careful what you're fucking doing. I'm yelling at him like, hey fucker, watch what you're doing. And he turns around and he runs right into Jason face first, and he just fucking shoves Jason. So we basically whipped this dude to the ground and both had our hands on this dude's fucking head and ended up giving him the boots a couple times, didn't we?
The business.
He got socked. I remember that. He got socked. He got choked out, and then he got kicked a few times, I believe.
I think we adjusted his constitution a little bit.
Yeah. And this is the
nigga
thing,
needs
though,
some help.
is that I remember
We just
going
gave him
there,
some help.
and I had a fucking backpack full of fucking goodness. And Jason Del Castillo was talking to the cops all day. He was fucking making buddies with the cops. And so we roughed this dude up, and Jason and I split directions, dude. This is something that you and I had done since we were kids, that we never left each other behind. If there was ever any trouble, we always stuck together, and we never ran towards the proper direction. You know what I mean? Like, if we had a car there, that car sat there till we doubled back like fucking 3 hours later. You know what I'm saying? So we blasted through this crowd, dude. And I got a backpack forward, so I've got all my goodness right in front of me. And I run straight to Jason Del Castillo, and he's sitting there talking to the cops. And I remember my heart just beating because we just roughed the fuck out of this dude. And then he's just sitting there talking to him, and my heart's racing. And I'm looking at Jason, and he's just making jokes at the fucking cops, you know, blah, 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 blah. Then you come kind of stumbling around, and we met Nelly Furtado.
Right? Yep.
And
Got
then,
my shirt signed.
I remember
by
throwing
my dream girl.
throwing my Sucrets box or my fucking Altoids box up to Brandon from Incubus. It was his birthday, and I gave him some weed. And yeah, that was a fucking great show.
That was definitely one of the best performances I've seen. That was Midway Stadium, right?
Yeah,
Saint Stadium.
yeah. Remember he had the fucking Andre 3000 had those fucking drumline pants on, those blue ones that were like fuzzy and shit, and he had like this, like the drumline hat on, like he was leading the fucking marching band, dude. It was so badass, man.
It was an incredible show from
Yeah.
start to finish. That was like an all-day affer too.
Yeah,
So
we
I
drank
remember-
our faces off that day, man.
We got good, and
I could tell.
Yeah, we told that to your face. Yeah.
we were sassy.
Hell yeah,
Very
man.
sassy.
We seen some. What are some shows that you can remember that were that were some standouts from all the shows that we had ever seen together? Because there was a
Man,
ton.
I don't
man.
know. I mean, there's so many. I mean, Mudvayne, that was fun, but
Yeah.
that turned into like a 24-hour affair too.
Yeah.
Um,
Didn't we get that dude so fucked up he left us and when they were recording their second album here?
I think he started crying.
He was crying, but that was Chad from Mudvayne, the singer from Mudvayne.
Right.
And then when we left him that night or that morning, the next day, we left him, and then their lighting guy and stage manager was a buddy of mine, Todd, right? And he came up to me like a couple weeks later, and I remember telling you this story, but he goes, "You can't fucking party with him like that anymore." And I'm like, "He's a grown fucking man. What are you talking about?" And he's like, "I'm serious. If you party like that with him again, I'm kicking your ass."
We gave him a safe word. He just didn't use it. So.
Well, his was "Don't Stop" or something like that. I remember,
Blueberry pancakes.
Yep,
Yeah,
more.
Don't
I think it was
stop.
Mayor. Yeah,
No, don't stop.
yeah, I think it was more. But yeah, he threatened me, and then you know how well guys like us do with threat. Oh yeah, is that right? So then
really?
and I remember telling him, going, "You sure you want to talk to me like that?" And then apparently this dude got so fucked up with us that he went running butt naked down the middle of the street in uptown Minneapolis. Just got fucking wasted. Yeah, it was.
That was a
good
legendary
one.
night.
Yeah, it was definitely
It was.
legendary.
And we just walked away just going, well, that wasn't anything unusual.
Yeah, that was normal for us.
Welcome to Minnesota.
Yeah, that was normal for us.
Welcome to the North.
Yeah, so many times we would be backstage, and I mean the fucking Rebecca Ross. Remember her from what was it? I can't remember. She was from Capitol, I think, Capitol Records or something. And she comes to the RV that we rented for the weekend.
Oh, she loved
And
it.
we partied our asses off. And Jason Del Castillo gave me a pump and munch glass this big, full of fucking Captain Coke. And it was this much fucking Captain and that much Coke. And I remember Rebecca coming to us and saying, "Hey, man, these dudes from Cold want to party." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, come with me." So I remember him handing me the fucking glass. And I walked all the way from our campsite all the way up into the backstage and blacked out. I don't remember fucking dick. I just wake up, come to with a fucking mirror in my hand, and them guys going, "Hey, you gonna do that, or are you gonna fucking?" And I just looked at him and I went, "Nope," and I handed it to him, and I walked out, and there was this much in that glass, and I walked back down to the campsite, and I don't remember shit. But that same trip, his old lady at the time gave him a fucking Polaroid camera. Do you remember the Polaroid camera? You and Jason Smith took off, and his old lady, we're partying, right? And we all stayed at the campsite. Me, his old lady at the time, Jason Del Castillo, and a handful of other people, right? And they disappeared for hours, bro. And it is pitch black out. She gives them a Polaroid camera and says, "Baby, go get me some booby shots." So they're gone for hours, and they come back and they look like two of the most beaten dogs you've ever seen in your life. And we're like, he hands me a stack of Polaroids like this, and they're like, some pigs, some good looking, just titties every which way. And I'm like, "What happened?" And he's like, "We came up on a hill, and there was a fire, and there were people laying around the fire."
There's titties everywhere.
No, there was not. Do you remember what happened?
No.
You don't remember?
No.
Dude, Jason Smith, Jay Smith, what did Shane used to call him? Shit stain. He used to call him shit stain. And I was like, "Why do they call him shit stain?" He goes, "'Cause he was no bigger than a shit stain." But he used to be in a band called Fighting Tongues. He's a fucking cool kid, man.
Oh, great kid.
And they come back, and like I said, they were beat dogs. They gave us the pictures. We're all yucking it up, and these guys look like they'd seen a ghost. And we ask them what's going on. They come to a campsite, and there are a bunch of dudes like fucking blowing each other or some crazy shit.
I remember that.
Either it was a story or they played it off really fucking
We might
good.
have made that shit up.
Because it was the shit that they told us. I was like, "No fucking way, are you serious?" Yeah, man, we walked in, it was just fucking mayhem, dudes fucking blowing each other and shit. And I was like, "What? No fucking way." So
We had been
What direction was that?
That evening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You said
Greg-
that was northeast, right?
That was the last time we saw Greg. That
Yeah, I was gonna say he
Yeah.
found his own ride home that weekend.
yeah, and then I remember picking up that one. What the fuck was her name? That one hot blonde. She's kind of older. She's one of
You're
Melanie's
gonna have to
buddies.
get more specific.
And Jay Smith was in my bed in the fucking RV, fucking finger banging this broad, and I was like, he's like, fucking let me smell his fingers and shit, you know, and he's fucking like, I was like, dude, in my fucking bed, what the fuck, you know,
Wetting some knuckles.
it was-
No shame, man.
yeah,
No
that was
shame.
out of hand, dude.
I haven't seen them kids in forever.
He's in Arizona.
Are they?
Yeah, Jesse's still here, I believe.
Jealous.
Yeah, right now, fucking A, man.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Road trip.
That was a dude that,
Get the
that
RV going.
took the party to a
the
whole nother
RV
level,
going.
dude. That dude went off the fucking deep end. Like we had been partying like madmen. Like I don't even think rock stars partied as hard as we did, dude.
Well, we were rock stars in our own mind.
Yeah, but I mean, this kid, man, he had a buddy who owned a convenience store, and this dude had a fucking big inheritance and all the shit, and they went through all of it and ended up fucking, you know, he ended up selling his convenience store, and I remember they both got super strung out real bad.
I don't know.
It was fucking bad news, and then he moved away. They both moved away.
Probably sounds like that was a good idea.
Yeah, it was fucking. I've seen him maybe a handful of times since back then, dude. You know,
Huh.
still fucking Jason though. You know,
He was always a sweet kid.
Yeah.
I always liked him a lot.
Yeah.
So, but I think he took the right approach in moving out of this godforsaken state. So
Yeah.
I think we should follow his lead. He's a pioneer.
right? Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Pioneer.
We were just.
I know you mentioned Utah,
Yeah,
but I'm gonna have
yeah.
to go with something a
Yeah, something a
little
little
more
more.
exotic.
Yeah, I want to see some mountains.
Something a
I wanna
little
see
less
some
suck.
shit, you know?
See
Yeah.
him on the way wherever you're going.
Yeah, true.
Just
True.
swing in there, take
True.
some photos, some Polaroids.
Well, the only way, and I've told my wife this several times, like the only way I'm leaving this fucking place is if I bring a bunch of motherfuckers with me somewhere. You know what I mean? Or people that I know from way back in the day are already there, and I'm just coming to connect with them so we can, you know, put a music fucking podcast commune together or something. You know what I mean? So we're here, day 38, fucking.
we got to do it from the beach, man.
Right.
Beachside podcast.
Yeah,
That's the
hell
only
yeah.
way to go, man. Coming back from Hawaii a
Man.
couple of weeks ago,
I
I'm missing that.
I remember your
all
brother
too
calling
much.
me from there and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
saying it was like Jurassic Park. He's like, I'm ready for raptors to come flying out of the woods to
I think
fucking.
he was in Honolulu,
Yeah.
you know, more tourist area, but it's all incredible, man. I mean, who are you fooling?
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful.
Did you get
part
laid
of the
right
world.
off the plane?
No, I didn't get laid till I got to the hotel. Actually.
No, I meant they put a lay on you when you got off the plane.
Not on the plane,
Really?
but at the hotel when you.
They
we
laid you
stayed
there?
at kind of a froofy joint
Yeah.
for the wedding.
Yeah.
And when you valet your car, you get out and they bring you a lay, and then they bring you some guava juice,
Nice.
and it was pretty cool. It was fun. They were very friendly.
Irish
people.
up that guava juice.
Yeah, throw a little Jamie in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little John Jameson.
John Jameson Jingleheimer Schmitz.
That's my name too.
Yep, absolutely, dude. So I mean, we've got a cajillion stories, dude. What is it? Is there anything that you want to touch on? I mean, from the music standpoint, I was asking you about some of the shows. Are there any other shows that stand out from back then?
Well, I remember I tried to go to an Eric B. and Rakim concert once,
Yeah.
and I was actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think I actually went with Jason Roberts of all people. And we got there, and there was we were sitting there.
Was
for
he
like
the other?
No, he was actually Jason that night, which was refreshing. And
We're talking about a guy who lived upstairs from Jason, right? And his name was Jason, and this dude would get so fucked up he'd go outside and argue with the tree.
Yeah,
he
like
was-
getting a physical confrontation with the tree.
Yeah,
Now that's-
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something to see. But anyways, we went to that concert, and after about an hour or hour and a half of waiting, apparently they canceled the show.
Yeah.
And that place got live,
I
man.
bet.
It was getting rowdy, and I remember one of the bouncers, one of the guys we knew, I can't remember his name, but he was the bigger dude with the dreadlocks. He was always there. We were standing in the middle of this sea of angry people, and he just grabbed us and pulled us into the entry. He's like, you guys should probably hang out here for a
Right.
little bit. This might
Right.
get a little gnarly. And so I never did get to see him, which was disappointing because I always wanted to. But
Did you go with me to Naughty by Nature when that dude almost got beat up in the crowd for fucking screaming the N-word?
no,
fuck.
well,
Dude,
I guess he
Tretch-
probably deserved
Tretch
that.
was gigantic at this time, too.
He was a beast,
Yeah, he
man.
got huge. He had that big fucking, toe chain on his neck.
Yeah.
And this dude was screaming the N-word, and he's pointing him out in the crowd. And their security actually jumped off stage and came out and fucking kicked that dude out because Tretch wanted to jump off stage and kill him.
Can you imagine having Tretch come at you with
Hell
that big
no.
ass chain around his neck?
I remember seeing it. Did you see LL Cool J with me there?
And that I did see.
Yeah.
That was
fucking
that
awesome.
was a good show. That was a good show. I mean, I guess I just don't know which direction. I've seen so many different shows. Hip hop shows live are always a little iffy for me because they're not. The production quality is always
Sure.
suspect at best on a lot of them. That's why I really
Everybody
enjoy that.
has a goddamn mic.
Everybody has a mic.
has a mic,
Yep,
and they're
yep.
all talking at the same
Yep.
time. Right, and it sounds nothing like the recorded product.
Right.
You're just
At
all.
Right.
So, I mean, I can always live without that. That's why I like that Outkast show so much because it was
It was on
just
point.
on,
Yep.
and it was. I mean, it was just amazing. So, most of the concerts I've been to, the ones
Did
I've
we-
enjoyed more.
Did we see Jizza together?
Yeah,
Or
yeah, we
was
saw
it?
them at Quest, right?
That was the night that his security. You and I were at the back door.
Yeah.
Remember the security and he came in and he goes, we're both at the back door, and he went and got us some pizza because I was working, and he comes to the back door and I got him into the show, and he's sitting there eating his piece of pizza, and Jizza's security walks up and he goes, I don't want to see any of these motherfuckers when we come back.
Oh, that's right.
Blah 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 blah. Right? And he was a big brother, right? And fucking Jason's eating his pizza, dude, and he reaches over to grab another slice out of Jason's thing. And Jason snatched his box and he goes, I don't give a fuck who you're with. I will knock you the fuck out.
Oh, shit.
And that dude was like, all right. And just turned around and walked away. I was like, God damn. And he was like mid-bite too, you know what I mean? Motherfucker, what? I don't give a fuck who you
You don't
are.
mess with a man's slice. I mean,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on.
That was
Take
good
food
shit.
out of somebody's mouth. You crazy?
Yeah.
So yeah, I forgot all about that actually. That was another interesting experience along the trail. I don't know where to start, man. We've been to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of shows
Yeah.
together,
Yeah.
and then separately we've been to hundreds more.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I've seen D. Antwoord quite a few times now. I went to St. Louis. I was in St. Louis and saw them there. That was pretty cool. That's always one.
How was it
compared
compared to seeing them here? Was it any different? Were they putting on the same show? Was it a different vibe?
Yeah, it was
Being
a
that
little bit. It didn't seem as electric as when I saw him at the Ave.
Yeah.
That first time, that was insane, man.
Dude, when he dropped on his back and did that kip up, and
Right.
fucking right on point, man. Oh god damn, that was unbelievable.
That was one of the better shows I've.
I remember
I've seen.
our buddy TC, his wife. I just had met her, and I gave her a weed sucker, and she ate that sucker, and he was like, "Dude, my wife is fucking losing her mind right now. Like she's never been this high," and it was fucking hilarious, dude. So hilarious.
Yeah, you probably should have gave her half that.
Well, I mean,
She'll pull through.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
no, she did make it.
we never went halfway. So I was just trying to see if she could hang,
Full throttle.
Right, yeah. Well, that's a good test. Is just throw their feet to the fire. So, yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, how do you really quantify any one show when we've seen so many wonderful along the way? So,
Well, so my question for you here too is with the songs that we've been playing so far, it's been primarily hip hop this whole time. But what made you decide to go full hip hop? Because we started with a little of everything, and then we stuck really towards metal for a lot of years when we were younger, and then we always listened to hip hop. We always listened to hip hop, but it was like metal was always the mainstay for us for so many years. I was just kind of curious when.
It's. I think it's more of a mood stabilizer, mood elevator for me.
Yeah.
It's just something about hip hop music and bobbing my head and kind of moving around a little bit. It just gives me a different vibe than all the other musics I like, and I like so many. But it just kind of hits me.
Right here, right there.
Yeah, right around here, not here, right here. So. I don't know. I just like music that I can move to a little bit. I mean, people that see me driving down the road must think I'm insane when I'm kicking out some Drake or something. 'Cause I'm just that old Buick's just rocking. And I'm sure people look over and go, "Oh, all right, cool.
Right.
Looks like he's having a good time." But it's when I go to the gym, a few days a week, and that's all I listen to. I pop it on, and
Get your swole on.
yeah, it usually just gets me up.
Sure.
It gets my mood to where I need it to be.
Right.
And it just does that for me. And other musics do, but I mean that's just generally the one music I can count on to
Motivator.
get me to that point. You know what I mean? So some people like to go pound out some metal at the gym. I just like to bob my head.
Sure.
Bounce.
Just in
bounce to it.
in case a hot chick walks by, you got to get up and bust a groove. You got a good beat to your earphone.
We like to dance.
Yeah.
No shame.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
I think that's what it does for me the most. I've never been much of a lyrics person. I'm more of a beat nut where I like to feel it.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll kind of move on to the lyrics. But
Sure.
at first, it's always the beat that
Yeah,
gets
kids
me.
today, they're hung up on the lyrics.
On the lyrics. Blind baby.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to show you, JR.
Whoa! Yeah, there we go, man. That was our youth as well.
That was a go-to, man.
Yeah, the Cheech and Chong fucking yeah.
That was terrific comedy.
Good shit, dude. Good
Probably
shit.
still stands the test of time. I haven't listened to that stuff in forever, but I guarantee
God.
I'd probably
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Oh yeah, man. So I just when we were talking just here, I was thinking about a time, and I believe it was you and I that we were in Uptown, right across the street from Mortimer's at a stoplight, and you and I were jamming to some shit, and some dude rolled down his window and he started cocking off to us, and I jumped out of the car and poked him in the eye. Was that you that was with?
I think so, dude.
I
mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
I could have swore it was you. And we were in your
poked him in the
Eagle,
eye.
your fucking black and silver car when you lived on Dayton. I could have swore it was that car.
It might have been, dude. I don't know. You're so quick. I might not even seen you poke him in the eye.
I remember getting
little eye
out.
ninja.
He's making fun of us, and I jumped out, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you think that's funny?" And he's like, "Yeah, you guys look like fucking idiots," And he's rolling his window up, and he's got enough for a hand to slide in there, dude. He had glasses on, and I just fucking jabbed him right in the face, and fucking glasses went flying. We're at a stoplight, and I remember the light being red, and his buddy just punching it through the fucking light.
Sounds very dangerous.
I told a story of Jason and I and a few of our friends. We all went to a Minnesota Vikings game. You remember this one? Where I fucking socked the Tampa Bay.
Is that the guy I dared you? I said you don't have the balls or something to do it.
The dude's running. He's got a Tampa Bay jersey on, and he's running. He's like 2 blocks away from us, and I fucking started screaming something. And I was mad because we went to Grumpy's on Washington, and we had just bought these fucking. I think it was I had a Moss jersey on, and it was a white one, and I got buffalo sauce on my fucking white Moss jersey, and I was pissed off already, right?
Damn it!
And we had been drinking all day at the game. And I see these guys running down the fucking street. So I start cocking off to them. They turn around and they come running. And Jason's standing in front of me. He's like, dude, don't fucking, I was kidding, And I go, watch this. And I fucking jump over the corner of Jason and I just punch this dude square in his face. Jason stops me and he pushes me back and he goes, who the fuck taught you how to punch like a girl, dude? And the dude's sitting there and he's holding his face. And I expected to drop him, And I hit him, and he's like, "Dude, we're on the same team, man." He's like, it's fucking. It was hilarious because he
I'm criticizing your punching motion.
dude, you didn't even. It was like you didn't miss a beat. You weren't even affected by 2 guys standing behind you. You were like just fucking ostracizing me. Like you hit like a girl, and then turns around and he just goes, "Get the fuck out of here!" And they turn around. The dude's holding his face, and they're just wandering off like, It was so fucking funny, man.
I do remember that.
So many little dumb fucking stories like that, man. Where just
We're littered with them. They're everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing we made it this far. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good thing that public or social media wasn't available back in those days.
Right. Oh fuck, man.
We'd have been ostracized, jailed, and probably deported.
You might have been deported.
I think you're more likely than I am,
green
buddy.
card, buddy. I got my green card.
I don't know. I got a little tint there.
Oh man, yeah. I mean, fucking A, man. Music has been a mainstay for us in things that we did when we were kids, man. We fucking we would rob, cheat, and steal anything just to get to a show. There wasn't a show that we missed for a number of fucking years, man.
We were scraping coins to get some tickets for some shows, that's for sure.
And I remember
But we always made it.
yeah, well, back then they also handed out a lot of comp tickets
Oh,
too,
yeah,
man.
they
The
did, didn't
fucking oh my god, you could get comp tickets to all the good shows at First Avenue, man. There were fucking tons of them, and there were a handful of shows, man, that I really bummed I didn't get to see. I didn't get to see Sublime before
that
Brad
is-
died.
That is too bad.
I didn't get to see Blind Melon before Shannon Hoon died.
Right.
And I also I didn't get to see the Fugees before they broke up, and I had free tickets to. I think we had like 12 tickets to the Fugees, and we were trying to get everybody. I think we showed up at the show. It was me, you, Aaron Pullman,
Nah.
and a few other people, and it was just packed, and we were like, fuck it, we ain't ever getting in.
I think one of my favorite shows. Remember when we saw Alice in Chains at First Avenue?
Yes, dude.
Before, I mean, it was during facelift, but it was before it actually took off.
Yeah, yep.
And we saw him, and we just watched that show in amazement. We're like, "Who in the
Dude,
hell
you were the one that
these
got
people?
You got that tape first,
Right.
Yeah.
I did, and I fell in love with it.
He was like,
immediately.
he called it Allison Chunks. He's like, you gotta hear this.
Allison Chunks.
Yep. He was like, you gotta hear this shit.
Well, that was over the top back then, man. It just didn't. There was nothing like it before. So
Fucking Lane Staley.
Oh my gosh,
Dude, I
know.
remember Bob seeing him before we even got the tape, because Bob saw him at Trout Air with Anthrax and Slayer and Megadeth. And they were opening the show, and he actually got to meet Lane Staley because him and Jerry Cantrell were in a fucking golf cart driving around. He'll tell you the story because he always used to rub it in my face because they got to see Anthrax before I ever got to see Anthrax. I think I was out of state at the time. Him and Jay Sykes went to that show
Okay.
at Trout Air, and fucking yeah, they got to see Alice in Chains. And then you and I went to Lollapalooza together, right, to see the Dirt tour.
Yeah, we saw him there too.
It was Fishbone, Primus, Alice in Chains.
That was a great show.
Fuck, sounds like it.
Nirvana played that show.
Yep.
I think Pearl Jam, played that show too.
They did.
There was fucking dude. We
That's
seen
when Lollapalooza was
hopping.
steaming.
Yeah, it was hopping.
They were blasting off with all the legend. Well, what have become legendary acts.
Well, we seen Faith No More before anybody knew who Faith No More
that
was.
was after. Wasn't that after we came back from Milwaukee?
We went and saw. Remember, we went and see. We saw Sacred Reich, and Phil from Sacred Reich was.
Oh
telling
yeah,
us
he was saying
yeah,
go
yeah,
see because of War Pigs.
Yep.
Right. He was saying,
When he
yeah.
mumbled through the fucking lyrics.
Oh, dude, he fucking. Dude was.
Blah, blah, blue, blee, blee, blue, blee.
No, he did it. He did it fucking spot on. It was.
Yeah.
Remember, he
That
had
was
the
at the
devil
Varsity,
mask.
right?
Nope. Well, the Sacred Reich show was at the Varsity.
Yeah.
But then, or maybe no, it was the Avalon.
Oh.
At Avalon Theater on Lake Street down there. I think that's where we saw him, and that was the Don Decker show. And I believe Phil from Sacred Reich was telling us about Mike Patton, and then. About how fucking insane this band was, and they're going to be huge, and da 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 da.
Yeah, we
and
saw him. There was like 15 people,
Yeah.
including us.
Yep.
But they tore the roof
Yeah,
off.
Babes in
Oh, that
Toyland.
would have been cool.
Babes
Fuck.
in Toyland.
Oh, there's a name
I think
drop.
they headlined the show, I believe.
They did. Yep.
And then they came back with Soundgarden, Voivod,
And that
and
was
Faith No More.
packed.
Oh my God, it was unbelievable because it was right when they dropped that album, and Epic had hit the fucking the airwaves on MTV, and it was just fucking blown the fuck up. And I remember meeting Mike Patton,
That was
and
just a sea
Weird
of
fucker.
bodies
dude,
on
he
the
was so
floor.
weird because we were
Mr.
standing there,
Bungle?
and I was like,
I met. That's when I met him. Only had a brief run-in with him, but that
Anybody
dude's weird
that
as
does
fuck.
Mr. Bungle's a weird dude.
hell yeah, dude! All of his shit. that
Tomahawk?
fucking- Tomahawk,
Yeah.
Phantomus, that fucking that Peeping Tom shit is still one of my favorite.
Oh, it's
fucking
great, man. I
albums,
like
dude.
all this stuff. It's just bizarre. Some of it.
Very.
Yeah, he's you know that he did the screaming monster sounds in that Will Smith show Legend, I Am Legend.
Oh, he
That,
did.
the beast that went that was fucking Mike Patton's voice. He did all of those.
That makes sense.
Yeah, just crazy, man.
Yeah, he's crazy like that. Yeah, I've always been a big fan through all of his different journeys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He is fucking amazing. What are some other ones, man? We've seen some shit. We've seen some fucking great shows, dude.
I don't know, dude. I used to keep ticket stubs for years and years.
They all sound terrible.
Well, we seen Pantera for the first time when they came through. It was Suicidal Tendencies, Pantera, and
Yep.
Exodus.
Yep, that was a great show.
And that was
we
on-
also remember when we went and saw Electric Wizard with Phil
Yeah. Oh, yep. At the
at
fucking
the Turf Club.
Yep.
Electric.
Yeah, we
Wizard,
drove
yeah.
them over. They were Phil was in town with Superjoint Ritual,
Yep,
and
just
we were at the
bush
Quest.
pile, too.
Yep, and
It
it was
was wrecked.
Phil, Jimmy Bauer from down the I Hate God guitar player. It was Phil, him, fucking Hank Williams
on
the third.
bass.
Oh, yeah, that's
on
right.
bass.
On
Remember,
bass.
we went down and fucking hung out with Hank. He was wearing his granddad's boots
Yeah.
that had duct tape, all keeping the motherfuckers together. But he looks just like his grandpa, dude, just like him, man. Long and lanky, same face and everything, you know. And he was such a cool guy, man. I remember partying with
It was.
him.
It was really nice.
over
they
by
they
the-
all were. They were
yeah.
all great guys.
Well, fucking Phil wanted to punch me because I was all drunk and I put my arm around him all kind of forceful, and he's like, "Get the fuck off me, bro," you know.
That's because he was bombed
Yeah.
already.
Oh, he's fucking probably all heroined it out, and I didn't have the right syringe.
But he's the one that turned us on to that show,
Yeah,
Electric,
Electric
Wizard. He's
Wizard.
like, dude, we gotta go
Dude,
see this
at-
band.
at-
I'm like, who
dude,
the hell is Electric Wizard? And I
At,
got there, I was like, oh,
Christensen's
all right.
Big V.
I get it.
You ever been to Christensen's? Oh my God, it
Yeah,
is a
that's a lot.
shithole, dude.
It
It's
is.
like a little bigger terminal bar.
Nice.
It's
tiny.
horrible, dude.
Nice.
Sound system is just
Yeah, the
was
Taste
stage
the
is like-
bathroom.
yeah.
The
Yes.
stage is sideways, and there's like 10 feet between the stage and the wall.
Oh, and they just
Awful.
tore it up,
Oh, they
dude.
blew that place apart.
God damn. I don't know. I wish I remembered more of that show because it was the dudes from I remember Lawyer Bob at the time too. He was talking about a band
Lawyer Bob.
called REO Speed Dealer. And they got sued by REO Speedwagon because of the name, and then they just changed their name to Speed Dealer. But that bass player from Speed Dealer was like on tour with Superjoint or Electric Wizard or something. That guy was there, and he kept trying to buy drugs from everybody. He's like, "Hey man, who's got some?" You know, he's just fucking whacked out of his mind. And I remember Lawyer Bob going, "That dude's fucking cool. Have you ever seen his band?" And fucking, he's just going off. No, that's a fucking dude I haven't seen or heard or not. Dude, that dude went off the motherfucking rails.
He was definitely in motion the last time I saw him, which was 15, 20 years. I don't even remember.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Yeah.
my mid-20s, I bet you, the last time I've laid eyes on that fella. But he was, he was just charging
Yeah.
full steam ahead towards
Yeah, dude.
towards the half-finished bridge, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man. He was definitely on his way, dude, for sure.
Full steam ahead towards the half-finished bridge.
He's not lying.
That's
either,
gold
man.
right there.
He's not fucking lying, man.
Yeah, it was wild, man.
Yeah.
Dukes of Hazzard style.
This dude had a fucking badass house. Dude, I remember
Remember all the pinball machines?
yeah, all the pinball machines, man. He had fucking the Cyclone, man.
He had them all.
Ride the Ferris wheel. That
Must have had
fucking
30 in his base.
yeah, that was awesome,
Christ.
man.
They all worked.
Yeah, they all worked. I remember partying till the fucking sun comes up, and he had to go into court, and he fucking he
He
goes.
was actually a lawyer.
He disappeared for like 2-3 hours. We're partying our brains out in this fucking basement, drinking our faces off, and fucking he comes down in a suit. Oh, gotta go to court. Just
Dude
fucking,
hops in the Range
oh
Rover
my
and
god.
out he goes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they were some fucking good people, man. They took care of us, man.
they were fun.
They're fucking. I remember the first time meeting that guy. I was in the mosh pit doing security, and he slams into me, and I just shoved him. And he's like, "You're security. You're not supposed to be doing that." I was like, "Oh, you fucking hit me. I'm fucking gonna floor you," you know. And he was one of them cats that would always try to antagonize you into doing some crazy shit, you know. And he got Jason Portanga real good. He got him fucking going all the time.
He was an easy one to get riled up,
yeah,
though.
yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
A short fuse, that one.
I remember, dude, just at Chad Hanks' benefit show, I ran into Jason Portanga, and
Awesome.
I was talking about the time that we went out with Cara Bailey when he was dating Cara Bailey. Remember that? And
Holy
the dude's
shit.
got like a 00 fucking Prince Albert through the head of his pecker. And I'm telling it the story, and this chick that he's with is sitting there, and we were at the What's Up in Mankato, and they have a staircase at the What's Up, and they've got that one light post with you can't see if you're down on the ground, you can't see who's at the top of the stairs because that light post is there. And he's going, "Hey!" And you just see him swinging like this, and you can hear ding, ding, and he's just bashing his dick off the pole, you know. And everybody's down. I know what's going on, and I'm laughing, and everybody's like, "What the fuck is he doing up there?" And I'm like, "He's bouncing his dick off the post, you know." So everybody's chuckling. Well, this dude and I go out, and he's got this chick, and Kara was fucking hot. This chick was from White Bear Lake, just a suburban hot broad, you know. How he landed her, I have no idea. But she's with a hot friend,
Ding.
and they're out.
Ding.
We're all out partying at Urban Wildlife, and he says, "My old lady's got this chick with, you know, she's kind of a fucking boat anchor. Fucking come with me and be my fucking wingman, right?" So we're doing fucking doing grape apes and fucking mind erasers and just getting hammered. And so I talk him into fucking getting down on all fours and dragging his dick off the fucking pavement and crawling across the fucking intersection of the corner where we're at. And so he's crawling and he's got his dick bouncing off the fucking street. And these two black ladies walk across and see him. And I'm laughing to no fucking end. I'm dying. And his old lady is sitting there going, "Oh my God, I'm never fucking going anywhere with you two fucking assholes ever again." And he stands, he hears her bitching and he jumps up, dude. And he's got his pants down and his dick hanging out. And fucking these two black, "Oh my God, you see, that man got his literally hanging out." And it was fucking hilarious, dude. Yeah, he was easy to get going.
He wasn't shy, that's for sure.
No. He picked up some stripper at the Lamplighter one time, and
The limp lifter.
and he goes, she can fucking shoot ping pong balls out of her pussy. And I'm like, what? I gotta see this, you know? And so she said, "All right, everybody come back to my house. We're gonna party afterwards." So he drives her in his van, and you know, she's giving him road noggin. He's swerving all over the fucking road. We get back and there's 4 or 5 of us, and she's got like 4 giant bottles of whiskey. We're drinking whiskey. He's got her topless. She's running around the house. He's fucking doing all kinds of craziness to her. And I come in and the screen is blue. And right away, I'm a fucking porn junkie, so I'm like, there's porn in this fucking thing. So I push play, and it's her getting railed by a couple dudes, you know? And I'm going, yes, you know? So I go into her bathroom, and she's got these Baphomet towel racks. They're fucking residuals of Baphomet, the fucking the symbol, the upside down, you know, the fucking star, and then the goat head on the fucking towel racks. And I'm like, these are badass. He's fucking around with her. Nobody's paying attention to me. I'm drunk. I'm a fucking sneak thief like a motherfucker. I just start pulling. I grabbed a screwdriver out of the drawer, took him off the wall, stuck him in my pockets. They're going at it, dude. I'm just fucking sticking fucking videotapes. I pushed stop, took the videotape, stuck it in my jacket. I disappeared. I went home. I watched this fucking chick get railed about 700 times on the fucking VCR.
The old VCR.
You wake up the next day and go, "Why do I have all this shit in my house?"
Yes.
Be kind,
Well,
rewind.
here's the thing is that he never ratted me out, but she somehow knew people that I knew, obviously. And they got my phone number and fucking she called me and was like, "Hey, I want my fucking videotape back." And then the dudes that were involved in the video called me up and were threatening me. And I'm laughing at them going, "Yeah, good luck. Come find me, motherfucker." You know what I mean? Yeah, good luck with that. And then finally Portanga calls me and goes, "Dude, will you just give her fucking videotape back? That's all she wants, you know?" So I meet her, dude, in this public place, and I got this big bag of her shit. And I walk up to her, and I'm like, I never did get to see that ping pong ball trick. And I just set it on the table and left, dude.
That's awesome.
I kid you not. I
What a
ran into that.
disappointment.
I ran into that chick at a fucking concert with some old dude with a mullet. She was hanging out with this dude with a mullet, and she walked by, dude, and she looked at me. And I was like, "God damn, that chick looks familiar." And the ping pong ball thing popped into my head. And I'm like, "Oh my God, I had a videotape of her butt
She
naked."
looks familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, that's her.
Yeah. Oh my God. So many fucking ridiculous stories that I tell this fucking dumbass podcast.
What would we have done if there was Facebook Live back in those days?
Oh God, we would have been in so much trouble.
We'd be hiding in Siberia.
Yeah, there was no safe spaces then. So
No.
yeah, we would.
There's no safe
arrested.
spaces now. There's no safe, dude. Yeah, we did some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, you know.
Well, I mean, what Shane brought up the Mia story like fucking
Oh, God.
not too long ago, and I just laughed and laughed and laughed, and the only thing I could think
There's
about
a
was
lot of those stories.
Aaron Pullman, coming down the stairs.
let's just leave that one.
Oh
At that.
yeah, that was good. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Don't forget to brush your teeth.
I've got a commercial that I got to run real quick. So
Hey there,
Tide?
student bachelors. Tired of the steady drip, drip of gonorrhea? Well, then Peter Rooter could
ahead.
be just what you've been
I'm just
looking
playing some
for.
Cheech and Chong.
Peter Rooter, that's the name. You just flush your troubles
Down the drain.
Rotten Peter, Rotten Peter, Rotten Peter.
Oh, that was fucking great, man. Oh, so Gooch, how you been, buddy?
I ain't eating Tide Pods.
Yeah, that's true. What the fuck is up with that shit, man? How is that even a thing? I mean, when we were kids, our grandmothers had like that jar of those
Our
spiral
parents
candies.
hit us, so you know,
Right. What the hell's wrong with you? You gotta
we did other stupid shit.
swat upside the head a few times and fucking
Yeah.
yeah.
Fuck, man,
dude.
your dog doesn't even eat soap, you know. Fucking-
Yeah. Yeah, how,
Idiots.
how can that be a thing? I mean, when do you think that it's okay to eat Tide Pods? What's going on with that?
Yeah, why is
What kind of drugs are you on to begin with to eat Tide Pods to make that?
I don't know. I imagine these are the kids that are listening to like Black Veil Brides and stuff out there doing
Stupid
that.
What's it supposed
podcasts.
to do?
I don't know, man.
Clean your teeth.
It's oh fucking A, dude.
It seems like an effective way to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what? I think we really need to talk about some important things here.
Yeah?
And figure out
What have we been doing?
what have we been doing this whole time. I think we really needed to pick who's going to win the Super Bowl.
You think so?
I think so.
Oh, well, give me your predictions. What do you got? What do you got, buddy?
Oh man, that's good. It's a tough one.
You tell me
Man,
how it's.
I'm a dynasty guy.
Yeah.
I love the 49ers in the 80s and the Cowboys and the Bulls and the Patriots. I love to see that kind of dominance in sports, but you know
Why is it that you like to see the full force of a dynasty, of a franchise like that? I mean, it doesn't make it any fun for anybody.
That's not true. It makes it fun for the people that are winning.
Lots of money.
I know. I mean, if you win 6 Super Bowls, you probably have a hell of a good time.
Well, I
doing
think
that.
I think he's already won life when he picked up Giselle Bundchen.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was born a pretty handsome fella,
Yeah.
so
He's a lucky
he doesn't-
some
He
bitch.
doesn't have any concerns there, but
And an arm of gold.
yeah, he's got he's got a schlong like a Lebanese hash dealer. So that always helps.
So square with a stamp on it.
That's right. That's right. Like a Campbell's soup can times 4.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't know. I want to pick the Patriots because it's the easy pick, but you know, and the Eagles fans are such dicks.
Yeah.
They suck.
You know, I'm gonna give New England the touchdown. I'm gonna give them the home field advantage plus
Yeah.
a few. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick New England.
Yeah. What do you think that the Eagles would need to do to actually upset the Patriots on their sixth their run at the 6th Super Bowl?
Did you watch the Vikings game? The
Yeah.
Eagles and the Vikings?
Oh yeah.
They
7
probably just
points.
they could probably just do whatever they did in that game. That should get it done.
Short
Just-
dink and dunk passes like they've always done.
You know, I mean that's what they're good at. I mean they don't have stretch the field receivers. The running back's kind of a committee deal.
Sure.
Their quarterback is
really don't have
kind
much of a running game.
retread. I mean Carson Wentz went down and they thought that the whole thing was going to come off the rails.
Right.
And old Nick Foles said, "I don't think so."
Did you say Dick Folds?
Dick Foles? Yeah.
Richard
That's his
Folds.
grandfather.
Dickie Folds.
Legendary in the Southwest.
Dickie folds in half.
Dusty bottoms. So I don't know, man. I mean, how do you bet against the guy that's won 5 Super Bowls?
You kind of can't really.
Right.
I mean,
You know, they're playing indoors and
Right.
a nice climate-controlled
Right.
stadium.
right? JT's in the house.
JT, oh man, my friend Brandy said that she saw the halftime show last night.
Yeah.
They did the little, sound check warm
Sure.
up deal, and I said, "How close were you to JT?" She's like, "I was like 20 feet from him." I'm like,
Wow.
dirty little. I said, "Did you blow him a kiss for me?" She's like, "No, I forgot." So don't ever do that again.
Yeah.
You see JT, you blow him a kiss. for days.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every
Absolutely.
time.
Every time.
Dude, I knew his light
Sexy
guy.
bastard.
His light guy used to work lights for and run Tommy Lee's drum kit thing, right? And did the lights for Motley Crue. Big Vinny was a fucking solid dude that used to come to town and we used to party together. Met him through Mark Chaussee. Super cool fucking guy. He called me up and he said, I'm going to be in town. We should hook up, get together, have some drinks. I'm with JT. JT who? And he's like, Justin Timberlake. And I go, are you fucking kidding me? I go, dude, can you get me into the show? And I had just heard of, dude, we were getting our hair cut from Steph for years. And I'm in this fucking salon getting my hair washed, and fucking, I'm like, what are you listening to? This sounds like new Michael Jackson. And she goes,
Right.
oh my God, you haven't listened to Justin Timberlake yet? And I go, this is fucking Justin Timberlake?
He's a monster,
I'm like,
dog.
God damn, this dude is talented as fuck, man. And from that point on, I've loved that dude. Big Vinny was in town. I was like begging him to get me into the show. And I asked him for 2 tickets for you and I to go to the show. He was like, no tickets for none of us road guys, any of the crew guys at all. You can't get any tickets. He doesn't give it up, and they're probably 700 a piece,
Oh, I'm sure.
Damn, dude.
But yeah, she said she was within, she probably tossed a tight spiral and hit him.
Right, right.
How girls throw.
Right.
So, but that was pretty cool. I wish I would have been there, but
For sure.
I
Yeah.
would like to. I've never seen him in concert.
No, I haven't.
Somehow.
I haven't either. He's
I'm
fucking
a
awesome.
big fan too.
I am too. Have you heard any of his new stuff yet?
No.
The record that just dropped.
I have.
I heard one song today, and that was it.
I
'Cause I
think I've
didn't
heard
even
one
know.
or two, but it doesn't matter, man.
Yeah.
Everything he touches turns to gold.
Sure, his old lady's
He's a
gold. She's
funky
fucking
dude, man.
hard and
He's
fuck, dude.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
dude, the
great.
dick in the box shit is fucking
He-
Oh
Dude,
my
it's
God.
fucking
off the
hilarious.
chains,
SNL.
dude. Oh my,
My
that fuck, dude.
side hurt from watching.
Dude,
it.
how they dressed him and fucking Andy Samberg, how they dressed and the way he sang was like perfect old school Bobby
Right.
Brown. Like, wow,
Color Me
wow,
Back.
wow, wow, that shit, dude, was
Melody was
awesome,
perfect,
man.
man. It
Oh
was great.
God, that was fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll watch the halftime show on Sunday. That's as close as I'm gonna get. At least
Yeah.
he's in the same state.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like seeing it.
Right?
You can go
right.
stand by the stadium for $60.
Yeah, yeah, no shit, man.
Pass.
Yeah,
Pass.
it's gonna be colder than motherfucker out
Well,
there,
I got
man.
a 60-inch in the living room. I think
Yeah.
I'll take
It's a big
advantage of
TV,
that.
dude. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I have absolutely no ambition to watch that fucking game at all. I mean, the only reason that I would want to watch is to see, Brady get his 6th fucking ring. And I would and it would be epic for me to watch him do that. And it would also be epic to watch fucking Dick Folds beat them guys, as well. And then, I mean, I would like to see it. I would honestly like to see
I don't have a
Vikings
horse
Star
in the
Wars
race,
trailer.
so I don't really
Is it?
care.
Yep. The Han Solo Star Wars teaser trailer is supposed to be.
Snap.
Wow.
That's the
exciting.
only thing worth watching the Super Bowl for me.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch it or not. If I find something better to do, I'll do that. But
Yeah.
I mean, for the sake of kind of breaking it up a little bit, it'd be cool to see the Eagles win. But
I would love
I
to
don't
see.
think they're gonna.
I would love to see them win just for upsetting the dynasty
Right.
and making him do it one more time to go get his 6th ring.
Right, I'm cool
But
with that.
but
I
again,
that
like you
story.
said, I have personal friends, mutual friends of ours that went to Philly for that Vikings game, and some of the nicest people I've ever known.
Were abused.
And they were fucking beer thrown at him and people
Yeah.
fucking, yelling and screaming at him. And the one chick that I know just looked at him and go, "Don't you guys have to come to our town?" And the dude stopped and shut his mouth. It was like, yeah, shut the fuck up, dude.
Right.
Like, you'll never find the motherfucker, but dude.
I got a feeling their fans won't be treated that way when they're here. That's for sure.
Well, I was in Taco Bell the other day with my coworker, and this guy walked in with an Eagles hat on, and I go, "Dude, should I just throw my pop at him?" And we started laughing, and I was like, "No, really, I should ask him if he's from Philadelphia or if he's from Minnesota and just has an Eagles hat to be a dick, 'Cause there's a lot of fans like that
Yep.
here. If you're a Packer fan, you wear your Packer shit wherever. You wear that shit. They're not even playing the Packers, and they're wearing their Packer shit to the fucking field, So I wanted to get up and just give the guy a little fucking
Little
fucking-
razz?
right there, Fred. A little fucking
Right.
yeah, a little bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I should just go throw you in a fucking snowbank, you little bastard. You know?
Minnesota nice.
Yeah.
They'll take good care of them, make them a little hot dish.
Right.
You know,
Little casserole.
tuck them in.
No, it's
tuck
not
'em in,
casserole.
Tuck 'em in at night under the quilt.
Yeah.
Over there. Yeah.
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 Don't you know, Mark?
That's
Gee whiz.
that's for real
Gee
though,
whiz,
man.
those Eagle
you know?
fans are swell.
Yeah, they're fucking douchebags, man. Well, speaking of
Douchebags
football,
everywhere, just
you,
straight up.
you remember taking the train all the way to Chicago to go to Soldier Field? That was awesome.
That was an incredible experience as well. I don't remember how long. It seemed like we were on that train for like 4 to 5 days.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain. I'm pretty confident it was much shorter than that. But in the condition, I mean, we got on that thing at like 1 in the morning, didn't we?
No, it was more like 6 in the morning. And
Oh,
I think we were already fucking 27 sheets.
I know there was no sleep prior.
Yeah.
to
I
getting
remember
on
getting.
it.
I remember getting
And there
into
was none
Milwaukee.
on the train.
Yeah, we got to Milwaukee. I remember we got in the train and we were in this fucking. You know, you walk in and it's like benches,
Yeah.
and I'm going, what the fuck is this? And it's like the baggage cart. We're in the baggage. There's like 5 or 6 of us in the fucking in the train. We have none of us have ever been on a train before.
That was 98.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. And none of us ever been on a train or none of that shit. And we go in the bottom of the train and we're like sitting on these
we're
benches
lost on
like,
a train.
this is the worst shit ever. This is gonna suck. And then somebody comes and goes, the fuck are you guys doing down here?
Yeah, I think we were in the smoking area, weren't we?
Yeah. It was ridiculous.
We're just hanging out. No big deal.
I don't know.
And we had no
we're
idea.
just stupid. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have allowed us.
And then we got into our car, into the fucking the
Where the
passenger
seats
train.
are.
yeah, where they
And
actually
we
had
sat
cushioned
down,
seats.
and we sat down for maybe, I think we had to sit down for like an hour, I think, or like 40 minutes before the bar cart opened up.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're smoking in the train in spots we weren't supposed to smoke, in between the cars,
Yep.
smoking and fucking walking in there, getting hammered. You must have picked up some. I remember you picking up on some chick, some brunette. And then remember we met the one black lady that was from Cabrini Greens, and
Yep.
she was fucking.
She was nice.
Yeah, she was super cool. She's like, oh, you don't want to go there.
No.
You don't want to go to Cabrini Greens. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm from. You don't want to
Stay
go
out.
there. Yep. White folks don't go up in there.
You don't go in there.
Yeah, she was so cool though.
She
man.
was.
Oh,
She was super.
awesome.
I think she chatted with us most of the time. Well, most of the way there, if I remember correct.
Yeah. We got schnockered.
Yeah.
I remember fucking Aaron's mom picking us up from that fucking bar, and we're like, all of us had like half an eye open, man, just shithoused.
If that.
And then I think we went and took a nap, and then we went to the bar after
Norwegian
that, didn't we?
Pirates.
Yeah, we fucking that was fun.
Yeah, Soldier Field, 1998.
We all scalped tickets in different parts of the fucking field. We weren't none of us
Somehow
were
we
together.
ended up together.
Yeah, we ended up together at the end. But the old dude who gave me that ticket that was like right off the field. Remember that was like I was fucking like 5 or 6 rows off the field in Soldier Field, the old Soldier Field.
Right.
And that was when Denny Green was the coach. I remember
Right.
that. And I almost got beat up in the bathroom by a bunch of fucking Bears fans. And it was like, you know, the fucking Saturday Night Live skit where the
Bears.
big
The Bears.
I'm in between 2 big fucking Bears fans. I mean, they are huge dudes. And
Both
they-
look like Ditka.
Dude, exactly. And,
Yeah.
and the Vikings do something, and I stand up and I got my Vikings Dunham shirt on, and I remember going, yeah, and then sitting back down, and them guys going, looking at me going, the Bears, you know what I mean? It was fucking.
Ditka.
Yeah, it was a hostile crowd, man, but it was fun. And we ended up winning that game. I think
Barely. It was a
Yeah,
fucking
last
field
minute
goal.
field
We
goal. Or overtime, maybe.
both teams missed field goals, or they tied it up with the last one, and then they came all the way down the field, and then we ended up getting the ball back, going all the way back, and we kicked the fucking winning
Yeah,
field
no,
goal.
Butler missed a field goal. We didn't miss one because Anderson didn't miss a field goal that whole season until played the Falcons.
Yeah. Weren't we all together then?
7
too? At-
points.
No, I was crying like a baby, and I was actually.
Didn't we only score 7 points in that game,
too? No, we scored plenty of points, just not enough to
Yeah.
Horrible time management
to
too.
win the game. Yeah.
Horrible time
Knee at
management.
the half.
Yeah, it was fucking unbelievable. I remember Aaron Davis crying in the fucking in Buffalo Wild Wings at the booth.
I got misty eyed. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was like, oh god.
Dude, we almost cleared the whole. We almost cleared the whole Buffalo Wild Wings, dude. I had some dude fucking attack me trying to get to the bar, and fucking Aaron Pullman.
People were out of their mind.
Yeah, He never drank. I remember going to this Buffalo Wild Wings because we'd go there every Sunday. And it was like this one dude had this wooden Viking trophy, or like a wooden Viking statue, and he had it on his table. And periodically through basically through the whole season, his table got bigger and bigger. It was like every time we would win a game, he'd get like 5 more friends added to his table. And so they were monstrous dudes, or big dudes, and they lost. And Aaron Pullman never drank tequila, hated tequila. And he looks at me and he goes, let's go do a shot of tequila. And I'm like, okay. So we get to the bar, and this fucking little black dude comes up and he just goes, motherfucker, get out of my motherfucking way. And I'm like, excuse me? He's like, you heard me, motherfucker. And all of a sudden this dude's like pulling his shirt open, and he's got this giant scar on his chest, and he's screaming about how he got stabbed in the chest, and not you or no other motherfucker's going to kill me. And I'm like, dude, take it easy. We'll get out of your fucking way. We're doing our shots. Chill the fuck out. And next thing I know, this giant table are all of his friends, dude, and we just get bombarded by like 20 dudes. Aaron Davis is in the booth crying his eyes out, and me and Aaron are just trying to do a shot of tequila, man. And we ended up getting kicked out of this fucking bar. It was just ridiculous.
Did you ever get your shot?
Yeah, we did our shot.
No, that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
Pay for this and get out.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. We're here every fucking weekend, dude. You give us some fucking, cut us some slack, you know?
Yeah, I was really pulling for the old Vikes to do the home field Super Bowl this year. That would have been pretty cool.
I thought for sure they were going to do it, man.
Story. I thought they were too until they just got worked.
I was gone. I was watching it over at my buddy Adam's house. I was up and out of there by fucking halftime.
Yeah, I shut it off. I think
I
shut it off in the third quarter. I was like, that's not going to work. And the worst part is my sister Kate recently got married in Hawaii. That's why we were there.
To a guy from Philly.
No, a guy from Hawaii who's a Philly fan.
Oh.
But he always has been, so I'll give him,
sure.
Ever since
You
I've
cut him
known
a
him,
break.
he's been a Phillies fan, so it's not like he just jumped on the bandwagon. But holy shit, was that annoying to get throttled 38-7 by my
your new brother-in-law.
In-law, yeah.
Unbelievable, dude. Well, he didn't just contact you and start cocking off, did he?
No. Actually, I brought it up. I was trying to be a good sport.
Yeah.
Then he kind of took some liberties from there. But you can't blame a guy, right?
No, not at all.
Well,
dude.
they beat the shit out of us.
Yeah.
Not at all. Well, hey, let's listen to some tunes. We got some Ghetto Boys. We got some Snoop Doggy Dogg, D.O. Double Jizzle. And we got some Beastie Boys and some UGK old school. We're going old school, folks. Stick around. We got lots more to get to, and we'll be back. Welcome back, my friends. I'm glad you're tuning in. I appreciate that very much. Do me a favor. Check out ritualmadnesspodcast.com. On the right side, you can connect with us on a multitude of links. iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Check out the YouTube. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, and I will be adding more content, more videos. I finally got a good video program that seems to be working just great right now. And, great. Just like Tony the Tiger. If you're in a band or have friends that are in bands who want to submit your stuff to the podcast and the radio station, please do that at ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. That's ritualmadnesspodcast@gmail.com. Also, download the Listen to My Radio app for me and push in the Ritual Madness Podcast in search bar. Bookmark that shit, and you can listen to the station at all times, 365, 7 days a motherfucking week, all that shit, all that good stuff, 24/7, all those numbers that mean something that you can listen to it all the time. And you can do that at Listen to My Radio. That's LISTEN, the number 2, My Radio. Put Ritual Madness Podcast in the search bar. Also on ritualmadnesspodcast.com. There are 170 episodes up there for your listening enjoyment. Quite a few great bands from the Twin Cities here. Also, there's an Amazon link. If you shop Amazon, please click my Amazon link, bookmark it as your own. Every time you buy something from Amazon, it helps us keep the lights on up in this piece. Donation link right underneath that. Please donate to the podcast. Keep things going. Check out Lowbrow Saints Tattoo Collective. That's 3500 Minnehaha Avenue, South Minneapolis, 612-353-4755. Those are good folks over there. Please go check them out. Take care of them. They'll take care of you. I guarantee it. February 17th, Mortificator, Krog, Mastiff, Daigoro, Beauty of Decay. That is February 17th at Lee's Liquor Lounge, 8 p.m. doors, $7 cover, 18 plus, $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 Tallboy, PBRs. Also in March the 10th, we've got Mordrot's CD release party at Lee's Liquor Lounge as well with Ghost Hook, Invidiosis, and Graveslave. Very brutal lineup. That is also a Saturday, March 10th. That is an 18-plus show as well. Get over there. $7 cover, $2 Jack and Cokes, $3 Tallboy PBRs. Give it a shot. Go see my band, Outside the Murder. It's going to be one of our first shows back. We're writing right now, or attempting to write right now. Tuesday, May 8th at the Caboose with Soulfly, Nile, Mastiff, Outside the Murder, and Prefabricated Lie. Again, that's $25 in advance. We do have tickets available, so hit us up on Ritual Madness Podcast on Facebook, or hit us up at Outside the Murder on Facebook, or just Chilton 666 on Facebook as well. Again, we got some tickets for sale. We'd like to get rid of those and get on some more cool shows, so do us a favor, check it out. You're listening to episode 171, hanging out with my brother Jason. We're talking trash up in this piece. I wanted to touch on some stuff that we used to do as kids. We used to love watching boxing and MMA, and fucking damn, we used to have some good times. It was like the whole family would get together just to watch Mike Tyson punch the shit out of people. Roy Jones Jr., fucking Arturo Gatti. I mean, fucking, what are some other boxers we used to watch all the time, man?
Well, there's my personal favorite, which is Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man.
When I was growing up and watching him just destroy people from the waist up was very satisfying to me, because he was just
a beast.
He was a beast, but he had that mentality where he was just going to break you into tiny little bits.
Oh man,
and send you home.
That was a dude when you looked at his face, it was like it was all muscle. His whole fucking head was muscle.
His whole body,
was
all muscle. I mean, he was one of the most ripped people you'll ever see in a boxing ring, which is usually not you don't want to be too muscular as a boxer, but he had that long lean muscle where he just chop you down like a lumberjack.
You make that dude bleed, and it was like Bruce Lee in the fucking movies.
Right.
He'd taste that blood and be like, "Oh, it's on, bitch! I'm coming at you full force." That dude was a machine, man.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember the Hagler Hearns fight.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
that was brawl.
That was just windmills, nonstop, and
from the first bell.
Those were two heavy hitters, man. I mean, Hearns was no slouch either.
Yeah.
So I mean, he ran a risk as well, but I mean, Hagler just destroyed him. And
dude,
John Mugabe, and I mean, one of the most disappointing fights was the Sugar Ray Leonard Hagler fight. It's one of those fights that was probably a couple of years too late.
Yeah, for sure.
Happened after their prime, similar to Pacquiao and Mayweather.
Right,
A
right.
lot of
that was a disappointment like a motherfucker.
It was a terrible fight, and but it should have happened 5 years earlier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, you had to know. I mean, the casual boxing fan probably wasn't, looking at it that way.
Yeah.
It was just those two guys finally fighting. But I mean, for somebody that follows boxing as I have for my entire life, it was clear to me that wasn't going to be the fight.
So you named Hagler as one of your all-time favorites. What were some other boxers that you really, really loved watching?
Well, Mike Tyson, of course. I mean, he was just a freak of nature, man. When he came on the scene, youngest heavyweight champion ever. I mean, he was just beating people up and bad quickly. And I mean, you could see the thing about getting in the ring with Tyson is you could see the other guys' look of fear in their eyes.
Yeah, for sure.
Just this look of, oh my God. And then once they got hit, the eyes they just started, rolling back in their head.
Yeah, for sure.
It was bad news for whoever stepped in the ring with a young Mike Tyson all the way up until, basically until he fought Douglas.
Which he took way, he didn't even think that the dude was even a fucking challenge. The dude's mom died. He was fucking on point, man.
Douglas whipped his ass, man. It was a great fight. That knockout, that 5-punch knockout, it's one of the most brutal knockouts you'll ever see. It was 5 consecutive punches that just hit him right on the button.
Oh, man.
And the worst part is I didn't even see that fight. I was up skiing. I know I could tell you pretty much where I was for every championship fight in my life, but I was with my aunt skiing up at Spirit Mountain. And I didn't get to see it because it was in Tokyo.
Right.
And it wasn't on regular TV. Yeah. So even if I was home, I wouldn't be able to see it. But I heard about it, and I was just shocked. I was like, what? And then I saw the replay a week later or so. And I was, he had knocked Douglas down earlier in the fight. Everybody said they counted too slow. He should have won the fight then. And then 8th round just took a bunch of heavy punches from
Yeah,
Douglas.
dude.
That was,
He just fucking let him have it.
that was it. But I mean, I used to tell you all the time the one fight I wanted to see was Holyfield and Tyson.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously Tyson went to jail. That fight never happened
Yeah.
until it was, probably
way past it.
way
Stu.
past it's the prime of that fight as well. So I mean, you get a lot of that in boxing. It's unfortunate.
I remember the Razor Ruddock fight. I remember the
Oh.
fucking Lennox Lewis fight.
No, he got beat up by Lennox pretty good.
Yeah.
But
You know what I really missed?
Ruddock, he slapped the piss out of that dude though.
I really miss also some things that we used to do is the fucking Sunday night fucking Sopranos spaghetti night and fucking curry chicken night and all that, dude.
Curry
We
chicken,
we get together
dumplings.
and just fucking hammer some food down and watch some fucking Sopranos. That was so much fun.
It was an event, man. We it was just a good reason to get people together.
Yeah.
And spend some
Yeah.
time together and eat some food. I love, I always love cooking. And get a living room full of people.
Yeah.
We'd pretty much block out about 3 hours. We'd watch The Sopranos and Family Guy and all that stuff. And,
What was the other one too? Was it or the fucking Larry David show?
oh yeah.
we used to watch.
Curb Your
Yeah,
Enthusiasm.
that's when we first started watching that. It was a fucking hilarious.
Did you
show,
see the
man.
last season? Oh, dude, you gotta watch that. It was so funny.
Really?
It's the best one by far.
Yeah.
And that guy is just insane. I mean,
Yeah,
he's got
yeah.
a brilliant comedy mind, but
Yeah.
it's there's a lot of subtleties in his
So
humor, too.
awkward, yeah.
It is, and it's just.
Do you see that? Did you see that
But
fucking?
he says the things that everybody else wants to say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you
So
see
that's
that
amazing.
documentary about a guy who was accused of killing? He was. I want to say it was his brother's sister, or no, his brother's girlfriend. It's on Netflix. It's a story about a dude who got was accused of killing his brother's girlfriend, and he said that he had taken his daughter to a Mets game. And
Oh yeah. And
Larry David was filming that day
Yeah.
at the thing, and he contacted him, and they went through hours and hours and hours of
It
film.
ended up being his alibi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy, dude. I watched that.
Yeah.
So yeah, somebody had told me about that, and I was like, all right. And I saw it on Netflix, and I watched it, and I was like, holy shit! Talk
Yeah.
about having an angel on your shoulder, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Because that wasn't there. That dude was never gonna see the light of day. again.
Right.
Which is sad because he didn't do it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Kind of justice is that. But
Craziness,
Larry
man.
David to the rescue.
Yeah, right.
It's kind of funny that they interviewed him in that documentary too.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh,
Hell yeah.
saved him.
Yeah.
I'm a hero.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, there's
Fucking,
know.
we started watching the UFC when the UFC first started. I remember
Hoist.
watching it and just going, there's no way that this little skinny dude with this gi on is going to choke the piss out of all these dudes. And he just went, he choked everybody.
Yeah.
He choked everybody out.
Well, I remember the first time I ever saw it, I was in Okinawa,
Mm-hmm.
and there was this guy that we were stationed with that was just a mixed martial art, just junkie.
Yeah.
And he had
Yeah.
all this stuff that nobody. I mean, I didn't know what UFC was then.
Yeah.
And he had all this other, crazy.
Probably pride shit and all that shit going on.
all this stuff along those lines.
Yep.
And he showed me hoist, and I think he showed me 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This dude? Really?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he was just taking down some 400-pound dude and just choking him out. I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I like this.
Oh, yeah.
I like this a lot. And that was my introduction to that. And I followed it for, quite a while, but I don't think I've seen a UFC fight in probably 5 years.
No shit. Wow.
I'm just a boxing guy, man.
Mhm.
I'd much rather watch boxing. And
Yeah.
there's so many talented boxers out there. I don't know if you watched that Golovkin Alvarez
That dude's a
fight.
badass fucking guy.
They're
that
fighting
Golovkin.
again May 5th.
Did Canelo win that fight?
That was a draw.
Oh, it was a draw.
It was a draw, and it, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really have a problem with the decision. I thought that Triple G had won that fight
Sure.
by a couple rounds, but it's boxing. It's a championship fight.
Right.
You want to win, you better knock him out.
Right.
That's how you.
That dude is
That's how you
fucking
make it clear
badass
cut.
dude.
So yeah, that dude is just a beast, man. He's so fast and so strong.
And the little cinnamon Mexican dude. Cinnamon.
oh.
This is Canelo.
Yeah, Canelo.
Yep.
Right.
He's fucking
love
cinnamon.
that.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
love that.
That fucking
Snappy.
that behind the fucking scenes road to the
Yeah, those
thing.
are always fun to watch.
Those
aren't
were
they?
awesome, dude.
Yeah, they always have some good
I
insight.
think Bob hit me that thing. He's like, you got to watch a Format is fucking really good.
Yeah, and HBO has one, Showtime has one. They're both pretty cool, man. They kind of dig into it a little bit.
Yeah.
Show what kind of goes into a
Sure.
prize fight.
Being
like
a boxing fan, what is it about boxing that appeals to you more than than UFC does?
Well, I guess there's a lot of similarities that I like. The one-on-one, the chess match, all that. You physically good enough to beat me, you mentally equipped to beat me.
Sure.
That whole push and pull thing, and obviously the animal instinct of it all
Right.
is tied to both of those things. But I think I like the
sweet science.
Yeah, I like the fact that it is just, it's boxing. You got to beat a guy with your hands.
Right.
You got 10, 12 rounds to do it. And I think that in MMA, I think people that the underdog may have more of a chance to win because there's so many different weapons.
Variables, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, I think you have a better chance to come out on top. There's some really good MMA fighters that, continuously win because they're just badass dudes.
Yeah.
But I've followed boxing my entire life, and it just kind of just sits easy with me. I just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I love everything that goes into it.
Right.
I understand it better. I can see what's coming.
Yeah.
I can game plan for a fighter mid-fight.
Sure.
Tell him what he needs to start doing.
Right.
What kind of openings he has. Where MMA, I don't see it as clearly.
Sure.
So it just
so many more.
It appeals to me more.
Avenues too. When you're with like you said, there's so many different aspects of MMA.
Right.
You know what you get with boxing. Like
Right.
you said, there's a plan, and you can always you say you watch one of those behind the scenes deals.
Right.
They study tape after tape after tape of all these fights, of the fighters previous to the person they're going up against.
Right.
And it's like they come in with a game plan a lot of time, and you see someone like Arturo Gatti and fucking and Mickey Ward going at it, and it just fucking wars,
fight.
yeah. And it's like the game plan all of a sudden just goes out the fucking window, and these two guys are standing toe to toe, want to take each other down, and they're fucking killers. They're killers with just their hands. You know what I mean?
Right.
You don't have to worry about the high kick. You don't have to worry about your leg getting kicked off. You know what I mean?
Right. I think I like the ebb and flow of boxing better too, because I've seen so many fights that, like you said, Gotti and Mickey Ward, where it was just back and forth.
Yeah.
You think one guy's done.
Yeah.
The next thing you know, he's coming and just flurrying the dude, and he's back. The other guy's backing off because he's just like, what do I got to do to take this dude down?
Yep.
So the drama to me is a little more satisfying in boxing.
Sure.
Than it is in MMA. I've watched a lot of MMA fights where I thought a certain dude was going to win, and I got knocked out in 30 seconds.
Sure.
It's like, what?
Yeah. Right.
It's not as fun for me. So it's a great sport. Those people are amazing athletes, and it's fun to watch. But I enjoy boxing much better.
Yeah.
Because it's just more in my wheelhouse.
Sure, absolutely.
So, and I catch all of them. You know what I mean? I don't miss many boxing matches.
Right.
I haven't in my entire life.
Yeah, I just kind of lost track of all the boxers. Golovkin's like Golovkin and Canelo.
Yep.
Mayweather. Those are the guys that still stick out to me. I still kind of pay attention to Pacquiao a little bit. And
right. You got to follow pretty closely, man.
Are there any good heavyweights out there anymore?
Oh yeah, for sure. Anthony Joshua, he just beat up Klitschko.
Yeah. Beat him up good or
Knocked
what?
him out. And then there's Deontay Wilder, who's an American.
Did you say
Joshua
American?
American. Other dude was British.
All right.
British. And then there's a couple other pretty good heavyweights rolling around right now. But the fight I'm sure everybody wants to see is that Joshua and Wilder fight, which is they've been talking about. They're doing their showmanship.
Yeah.
I'm sure but they're both very young. They're both,
Right.
Mid-20s maybe.
Just beasts or what?
Yeah.
Big dudes or what?
They're both like 6'5", 6'6",
Damn.
260.
Damn.
Just freaking leviathans, man.
Right.
They're just huge dudes, and they can fight, man. They can throw. So that's kind of what's been missing from the boxing scene for a number of years.
Sure.
The heavyweight division is dead, and that's what people want to see. They want to see big dudes just beat the piss out of each
Sure.
other. And
Yeah.
there's been So a lot of good fighters over the last 15, 20 years, but not in the heavyweight division. So
Right.
I think that people will definitely be excited to see if those guys fight. That's going to be a huge fight.
Right.
I mean, they had that Joshua Klitschko fight at Wembley Stadium,
Oh wow.
100,000 people.
Damn.
So I mean,
Still alive. That's good.
it's still alive. There's some up and comers. There's some people that have established themselves. So that'll be exciting to see over the next couple of years. The lighter weight divisions I've always enjoyed myself. The welterweight through
Yep.
middleweights.
Sure.
That's always been, my favorite divisions because there's just so much action.
Yeah.
And they can just fly, man.
Yep.
Fly like
Tons of
Vasily
punches, yeah.
Lomachenko. Have you
Yeah.
seen Lomachenko fight?
No. No.
Oh, you owe it yourself to watch Lomachenko fight, dude. He is amazing. And
I was just listening to Joe Rogan talk about him and that the dude that his dad put him in boxing like at a really young age and wrestling and all kinds of shit,
Yeah.
but then took him out of the whole fighting game to be a dancer and like made him do dancing
Yeah.
and he's talking to Joey Diaz and they were talking about boxing and he's like the guy has amazing foot skills and he's like
incredible.
He's in and out, and he's always. Now, I've never seen him fight. This is just what I was just listening to this podcast today, as a matter of fact,
Yep.
and that name came up, and they were talking about he's always a step ahead of the guy that he's fighting, and he's always in and out real quick. He's real good with his feet, and he's like you never see that anymore. He's there's hardly any fighters that are so agile on their feet anymore.
He's never in a bad position, no
Yeah.
matter how he's standing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got that kind of balance, that kind of otherworldly balance where
Sure.
he can
Hit you from
with
any
both
angle.
hands
Yeah.
with the same kind of power from 90 different angles.
Right.
And it's just,
Right.
I mean, you watch these guys. I mean, he had, I think, like 4 or 5 fights in a row where people quit on their stools.
Wow.
I just said, nah, I'm done, man.
I'm just getting my ass beat
This
so
dude
bad.
is too much.
Wow.
So I mean, that's the kind of beast he is,
Right.
And there's Crawford in the welterweight division, and there's a number of good fighters out there. You just
Sure.
got, the fights don't seem to be as often as they once were.
Sure. Yeah, Showtime used to have them all the fucking time. Showtime and HBO. And,
Right, but it's not really like that anymore. So it seems to be kind of a lull, but the heavyweight division's picking up. So that's really what
Maybe
a
it'll
lot
swing
of
it a little bit
casual
more.
fans want to
Sure.
see anyway. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always find good fights.
Right.
They make ESPN's got into the fight game pretty heavily recently too. So they're trying to they're trying to match up the good fighters
Right.
with each other.
Right.
When it's time to do it, rather than
Then waiting and
5
yeah.
years too late.
Yeah.
So I think you'll see over the next few years.
I wonder what the purses are when it comes to something like that. Are they giving them the pay that they're due after, you know what I mean? Because a lot of times that build up to those fights is always what draws people in to for more ratings and shit.
Well, right. That's part of the showmanship of boxing, especially when you have the Mayweathers of the world. I mean, his fight with McGregor made $600 million.
Right.
That's insane.
Right.
McGregor doesn't know how to fight.
Yeah.
I mean,
You give that dude a year to
Mayweather
train, I
was
think
40 years old. I mean,
Right.
who really wanted to see that? I
Right.
mean, I watched it.
Oh, he was pumping the brakes the whole time. He could see it. He's just ready to outman the dude.
He could have ended it much earlier, but I mean, they were charging $100 and some bucks a pop for that fight. I didn't watch it on the internet.
Sure.
I wasn't going to do that,
Yeah.
but it was it was mildly entertaining.
Sure.
It was what I expected it to be, but I mean, the money that they generated though, that's incredible.
I'd never take a punch to the face ever again. That's all I'm saying.
I'll tell you one thing.
I'd be into real estate and all kinds of other shit that some sort of assets. There'd be some sort of juggling of, marijuana stocks or some kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Something that's going to generate, I've got, 200 million to fuck with right now. And I would take 100 million of it and I would invest in anything that is lucrative in any shape or fucking form. And I would never, ever, ever take a punch to the face ever again. I would be like, you know what? I'm gonna bang every chick that I can on this coast, and then I'm gonna move to the next coast and do, you know what I mean? I go to Canada. I go anywhere I've ever thought I'd wanted to bang abroad. I would do it.
Well, you could with that kind of money.
Yeah,
you could do it on a
I would
private
own
jet.
Tinder.
I mean, say what you will about Mayweather, but that dude is a genius.
Yeah.
When it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, he is just. I mean, two of the highest grossing fights of all time have been his,
Yeah.
Pacquiao and McGregor.
Yeah.
One wasn't even really a fight. So
Right.
I mean, you put that together and tell me, you know,
Right.
who the dummy is.
Right.
So and he doesn't really get hit much.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so
No
I
shit.
mean, they were doing some little song and dance on YouTube the other day with him in an octagon. So they're kind of, I don't know if they're loading up for some other
Oh God.
$1 billion payday, but
God, don't go into the octagon.
he's got
'cause
no
you will-
business in
yeah,
there.
he will
That's for sure.
he'll get smushed. Like
yeah,
nothing.
they'd have to pad
Yeah.
everybody's entire body for that fight. But
So, dude, after all the crazy stories throughout this whole evening, and I mean, this is not even, we've barely scratched the surface of the time that you and I have spent together as youngsters and growing up into adulthood. I want to commend you on how much of a father you've been towards your daughter Ella. It is something that is it, to me is remarkable because, for one, you know, we were wild kids and we did what we wanted to do. And not to say that we didn't have good parents, because we did have good parents, but we were off on doing our own shit. You know what I mean?
Dogs
And-
without
yeah,
horses.
man. And it was like to see you be such a big part. And with Jacob, it was something, that was different with Jake. And then with Ella, you it's like, I did the same thing. It's like you make mistakes in your life and you move past that and you become something completely different. And I just wanted to commend you on being a good dad for your daughter, and that's what girls need is a father figure.
Very
And
true.
someone to someone to love and to see what a guy should be, to because you treat her like a queen, and you take care of her. And she's in sports, and you take care of her. You're a coach. You do what you have to do, and I think that is amazing. Through all the shit that we've been through in our entire life, all the partying, all the craziness, all the crazy shit, it's like you want to make sure that she has a lot better of an upbringing than what we did. I mean, even with her mom too. We were all partiers. We were all crazy kids, and it seems like both of you guys really raised her to be an intelligent young lady, and just talking to her, just a few times that I've actually had conversations with her, she's got her head on straight. She seems like a well-adjusted kid, man, and I want to praise you for that, because it's really tough, coming from where we came from and all the shit that we've been through in our lives,
right.
So I just wanted to say I think that's badass of you, dude.
Well, I appreciate you saying that for sure. I mean, she makes it really easy. She's a great kid.
Yeah.
I give a lot of credit to Ray. She's right there,
Yeah.
doing her thing,
Yeah.
making it happen.
Yep.
Without her, it doesn't work either. So, I mean, I do what I can. Like you said, you want your kids to have the things you didn't have,
Yeah.
which, and in our case, it was enough. But,
Yeah.
I know the things I wanted for and the things that needed to be. And there's, not just material things, but emotionally and,
Yep.
and physically. And
Yeah.
I think that that's important to
Sure.
make sure that you, obviously learn from those things, but you pass it on to
Yeah.
somebody that can do some good with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's what you want to have happen. You want
Yeah,
to raise
absolutely.
productive, responsible adults, and
Yeah.
to avoid the pitfalls that we may or may not have had. Obviously a lot of those things made us stronger people, but
But
a lot of
avoiding
them,
some
a lot
of that
them
shit
probably could have been.
too. Yeah.
Probably could have took the long way around that.
Sure.
So, but that's what it's all about, is taking those lessons and
Right.
making them useful for
Yeah.
somebody else. So
Yeah.
she's a great kid, and same to you.
Yeah.
It's an amazing adventure. I know how your daughter looks at you, and
Right.
she's always very excited to see Dad, and that's awesome, man. So we just do our best.
Hell yeah.
That's
Yeah,
all we
man.
can do.
It's a tough road, man. It's been a crazy road for both of us, and I honestly, thinking back and talking to some of our other friends, and thinking about it, and it's just amazing we made it this fucking far, bro. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Upright, one piece.
Yeah, yeah, and so many of our family and our friends, didn't get to see, a lot of the things that we've achieved in our lives so far, and you know, dude, honestly, I don't think that I would be the person that I am without you being in my life as a friend and as a brother.
Well, likewise.
And you know, the family and the camaraderie that I got from your side and everything that you guys as brothers brought to me and molded me as a person, you know what I mean? It's crazy because I think about it every single day. There's not a day that goes by that I don't appreciate every single thing that we ever done in our lives. You know what I mean? Is outside the fucking boxes we had ever been, we were always tight. You know what I mean? We were always together. We were always fucking, you know, watching out for each other. I every year I always waited for the fucking happy birthday phone call and you know, hey little buddy, how's it going? You know, and fucking shit like that. And you know, I love it. And it's still in effect to this day. You know, in this life, it's hard to make long lasting friends like that. Lifelong friends, you know.
Absolutely.
And it's just great to see, man, that you know, to see Ella flourish in who she is and that she's got a solid father and you're there for her, and you know, you're gonna teach her not to take any shit and you know, it's a good thing for a woman, man. You and I both know how many daddy issue women we've dealt with in our lives. So I think that it's you know, it's imperative that we stand up and do the right thing after. I mean, you know, I can say 100% that I actually had a chance to get back in my first daughter's life, and it was I walked into something and just look at it and go, God damn, I really fucking failed. You know, I mean, you can only carry that guilt and resentment and the feeling of failure and all that shit. You can only carry it for so long before you just got to go, okay, well now we're here. And we got to move past that, and unfortunately, you know, my daughter is not as keen to my apologies and everything that I tried to explain. Like, you know, my mom did the thing to me, you know, where she said, you know, I fucked up as a kid when you were a kid, you know, and I can't change the past. I can only work towards the future, you know, and that was a hard pill for me to swallow as a kid, you know, and not knowing my pops or not knowing anything. I had my friends and I had my friends' families that took care of me, you know, just like family. So I just wanted to, you know, give that up to you because it's always meant a ton for me to have you in my life, because it was like there was all okay. I wanted to touch on something too, that there were markers in our times as friendship where one of us was fucking up, you know, and it was either one of us was like, all right, dude, I'm not going to enable you any longer to do this. You know what I mean? And it was like either one of us would step back from each other and go, all right, I can't be around you because of what's going on, you know, between us. And then all of a sudden it'd be like a year or a couple months down the road, and then it'd be like, why are we not talking? You know, like we're better than this. You know what I mean? And just the ability to apologize to each other and call each other assholes when we're being assholes, and you know what I mean? It's very hard to find fucking people in this world that I can't even tell you how many times that I can express that I've called you and you've come and bailed me out of situations and vice versa. And you know what I mean? It's just, it's fucking crazy to me. And you've always been a brother to me. You'll always be a brother to me. It's just, and to have you come on and actually want to be a part of my podcast, it's huge for me.
It's been something I've wanted to do for a long time. I just never really connected on it. And, you know, I would always love to come back and do it again. I mean, it gave me a reason to wear my skinny jeans out in public, so it's always a nice feeling.
Yeah, right.
But no, that feeling goes. I mean, those sentiments all go both ways.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's all part of the part of becoming self-aware and growing as a person.
Right.
And you know, we've always pushed the envelope just far enough, but never too far.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we've always been able to come back from whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, and that's just kind of a testament to who we are, and,
Yeah.
and the fact that we know there's boundaries out there, and we just kind of, we don't want to hit the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And take another look at it
Yeah.
from that perspective. But no, it's been a great journey with you all the way, man. You've been a guiding light in a lot of situations, and I've always been very appreciative of that.
Yeah,
And,
I always wondered from back in the day, and I think there have been many times that we had been partying, and I asked you that question, like how and why did we maintain our friendship? Like what was it that we saw in each other that you know what I mean? Because I remember meeting you, dude, and we were both kind of awkward dudes, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it was like I always saw something in you that was like, you know, you were good shit, man, you know, and I remember the first time you got laid. And it was like
I do too.
I
Actually.
remember high-fiving and fucking I remember calling you on the phone and like, how'd that go, buddy? You're like, oh man, you know, here we are. I remember did I really do that?
I didn't know what to think about that whole situation. I was just like, wow, that was all right. So that happened. Yeah, I don't remember being blown away by my first time.
Yeah,
but it did get better after that.
Yeah. That's funny shit,
good.
man.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. I appreciate you letting me come in and jabber with you for a little bit.
We get some more songs too, so
next
we can.
next time we're gonna do some bits, man.
Yeah.
I got some bits.
Yeah.
That was more fun with it.
Yeah. What you got on your mind, sir?
I can't put it out there, otherwise next time it'll be.
You know, I've been talking to
It won't be funny if I gotta explain it.
talking to Matt Wolford and Jason Del Castillo. We've been talking about doing a side podcast of not just music, you know what I mean,
Right.
and actually getting together and doing some silly shit and putting some shit together, and you know,
Oh man,
yeah, it'd be
like
pretty,
bits.
it'd be pretty silly, man.
we could do. Remember when we all used to get together and watch the Chappelle show?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh my God, we'd be dying.
oh.
We'd be dying, but I can see a radio version.
Dude, did I don't think I ever told you this. So after Prince had passed away,
Yeah.
I started booking at Lee's, and the manager of Lee's is James Rhines, right? So James Rhines, you remember James from The Quest, right?
Yeah.
So James Rhines and I sat down on a fucking on a bench outside, and I just started picking his brain about Prince stories, because he used to work for Prince for a long, long time. And some of the stories, dude, that he told me were fucking amazing. And I remember us watching that Chappelle show shit, and when he played basketball, when Charlie Murphy told the story about the basketball thing.
Right.
So James,
Purifying waters of Lake Minnetonka.
yeah, and he's talking about you want some pancakes, that kind of shit. So James Rhines had told me those stories about him well before the Charlie Murphy thing, before all that, and it didn't, you know, like I thought he was bullshitting, because this little motherfucker, because he used to say that dude could ball, and I'm like, Prince, this motherfucker's a tiny little Asian bitch, you know what I mean? And he's
elevator
like
boots.
6-inch stiletto heels, and he's balling on all of us, you know, and he's like.
Can you imagine?
And he said that he would just, you know, cut in and out of, you know, just fucking laying it up with these 6-inch stilettos on, you know, all dressed up, you know, point blouses, you know, that kind of shit. So, you know, he told me a ton of stories about that. And I remember watching that Dave Chappelle shit and just like my mouth dropping, going, oh my God, he was fucking real about it. And I remember working at Paisley Park for a little while and going into the studio and changing these giant speakers out for Prince. And in between the studios, he had like 3 studios, like side by side, you know, they're kind of in like a triangle, you know, like a trident or something. And in between those, he had a full basketball court, and we're moving these fucking baby grand pianos. And I remember taking the legs off these pianos and putting them on these furniture dollies and moving them around and pushing them into this basketball court, and remembering the story of James telling me that he used to ball. And I'm looking around this fucking basketball court, and I'm going, God damn, James was right, man. He's totally telling the truth, man. And then seeing that shit on Chappelle, and I was just dying, man.
What a great
I was
story, man.
dying, dude. God damn, that was good shit.
I would
There
love-
were
love
some
to
other
see that.
ones that he told me about Prince flying to somewhere in Europe and picking up this model. And James said it's 2 a.m. There's fucking snow all over the place, and Prince calls him and says, "Hey, I need to have the place shoveled out and snow blowed before I get there." So he played a show in New York, he said, and he flew to Europe to pick up this model. and flew back to Minneapolis the same night. So he played the show, went to Europe, came back, and fucking come in about 2, 3 in the morning. James said he fucking snowballed the whole thing, and he walks up and he's like, "Hey, you need anything else for me?" And he goes, "Greg, I looked at this woman," and he goes, he said, every time that Prince would bring women back to the fucking Paisley Park to entertain them, they were just drop dead gorgeous women, just unbelievable. And they're all, 6 foot or taller, just hot models. Right. And he said, dude, this chick was so fucking fine. He couldn't believe it. He said that him and this other guy, Magoo, would always apparently he would bang these chicks in this studio, right? And he said there was a studio adjoined to the other one, and there was like a curtain, and fucking Magoo got him to come into the room, and they're peeping on him, And he said that he stumbled over something, and he went fuck like that, and Prince came around, and he heard him click, 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 walking in his heels into the other studio and popping in there. And he said Magoo jumped in this little box and tried to go through the cable box to get through there. And he's telling James to come through there. And James is hiding behind this fucking curtain. And he said Prince opened the door and looked in there and fucking looking around and didn't see nothing. And then he just left the door cracked. But, the door had a certain noise to it and shit. I was busting my ass up, and he's like, the motherfucker caught me. I would have never worked for the motherfucker again.
Right.
Yeah, he said it was just crazy.
Funny.
Yeah, good shit, dude. Good shit.
Good times.
Hell yeah, man. Well, let's take a listen to some more tunes. We got 5 tunes left. We'll play these 4, and then we'll come back and we'll sign off, and then we'll let you go. It's 12 o'clock up in this piece. Super Bowl weekend. And Jason's predicting for the Patriots. He's going to go for the Patriots all fucking day long. I don't really give a shit.
7 points.
I would love to see it happen, but who knows? We'll see what happens. I'll pay attention a little bit. Well, let's listen to some tunes, and we'll be back. And there it goes, just like that. Biggie Smalls busting caps on a motherfucker's brain, his skillets, and his mullets, and all that other good stuff. Oh man, that brought back a ton of great memories, man. What a fucking great. The way to start it is some Prof, and then we did some Tribe Called Quest with some Hey Sucker Dickos, what up with your arm. Then we did Get Up and Get Out from Outkast. We did an extra couple songs because apparently we didn't get the songs that we needed on here. And we just mixed it up with some old school shit, and did some Notorious B.I.G. on that one. There was nothing like that dude back then, man. I mean, for some odd reason, I just didn't get into Tupac, and everybody gets so fucking pissed off at me for me saying that. There was something about Tupac that just didn't appeal to me, and years went by before I really started getting into him again. Like really wanted to check it out. There's like a handful of songs that I did like by the guy, but then there's just something about Notorious B.I.G. that I really dug. And that first album was fucking off the chains all the way through. I remember seeing something about Biggie talking about when Method Man came on there and did that cameo on one of his tunes, and he was all bummed out because Method Man just dropped a hot beat on his or a hot fucking verse on his shit, and he was just like, man, I got shown up by a dude that I asked to come on my album, and kept it, dude. I mean, that guy blew up like a motherfucker too, man. Method Man was awesome.
Yeah, there was a lot of good artists back in that day when it was the B.I.G. album came out, and that was kind of an inspirational album for me. I don't know, something about it just connected with me.
Hell yeah.
It was one of those ones where you could just bob your head.
Hell yeah.
And just kind of feel that flow that he just threw out so effortlessly. I mean, he's just one of those artists that just made everything seem easy.
Hell yeah.
And he just connected.
Oh yeah.
And it was great. I loved it when that album came out.
Yeah.
And Tupac, I was always a Tupac fan. It's just you gotta kind of sift through his music a little more diligently. He's got a lot of stuff out there that is fairly aggressive, I guess you would say, from a hip hop standpoint. Yeah. He was just, he's kind of groundbreaking at that time as well. Kind of a militant revolutionary type, fighting for social justice, but pissing off everybody along the way, like a lot of hip hop artists did back then. I mean, they did a lot of things to change, things in their own culture and their own, a lot of hip hop can be probably seen as is another civil rights movement. You
Sure.
know what I mean? I
Yeah,
mean, it's done
absolutely.
a lot to
Well, I mean, especially
create equality in a lot of places just by the words that are on these albums and the fact that they just get the attention of so many people. I mean, think about when NWA came out when we were
I was
in
just
high
gonna say
school.
that too. Yeah.
And we grew up in a very white
Suburban area.
part
yeah.
of town, man. But I mean, it didn't stop all the kids at school from throwing on Raiders jackets and,
Right.
and hats. And I mean, I remember TC got suspended from school for wearing a Raiders hat because they were banned from our school.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of impact they have, but I mean, it reached a really big audience.
I just loved this. It was the storytelling behind it. It was like you were getting a glimpse of what the shit they lived in their lifetime.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And that's exactly what it was. It was just a platform for them to, tell their stories, tell their struggles, and subsequently it made a difference in a lot of different areas, a lot of different lives.
Sure.
I mean,
It was so fucking raw. You know what I mean? It was so fucking raw.
But I mean, it attracted everybody. I mean, there's not. You and I are friends with so many different people. Race, creed, religion, whatever it is. I mean, we've always gotten along with everybody, and we've always accepted everybody. But I mean, it reached everybody.
Yeah.
And it's just still to this day it has a very large footprint on society.
Oh yeah.
And the different types of people that listen to it and understand it, hear it.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, it's crazy because it was like hip hop was so, I wouldn't say bubblegum, but it was like it was different. You know what I mean? It was hip hop. It wasn't gangster rap. And then when gangster rap came out, it was so like a glimpse into the thug lifestyle and what was going on in the real inner city. You know what I mean? Not in Minneapolis. Because there was some shit going on in Minneapolis too, and Frogtown, and there are different parts of the the Twin Cities that we lived in. But it was like these Chicago and fucking L.A. and New York, and Baltimore and fucking all these places, and you get these rappers that come from these places, and they're just phenomenal, and you wonder how much of this shit is actually true, and then you go back and you hear some of the stories of the shit that they lived through, and in the what always blew me away is how a diss on a rhyme on an album all of a sudden became like this huge beef, and then dudes are fucking other people's wives, and then all of a sudden is people are actually shooting at each other. It just took it to a whole nother level, man.
I never got that part of it. I don't understand that. It seems so senseless to have all that at your fingertips.
Yeah. Like setting yourself back. You're moving forward with all this. I mean, it was a negative, positive movement. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there was certainly, you get into that gangsta shit, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you can disagree on whatever level you want to disagree with, but when you have that type of platform and that type of voice in the audience that you have, I mean, you gotta consider that.
Yeah.
When you're getting into those situations. And I just, obviously got away from, Biggie Smalls and Tupac. And I mean, that was obviously the biggest feud of the hip hop generation.
Yeah.
And it's, it ended poorly for both.
Sure.
And that's sad because, it just took away two more artists that, would still be around putting out
great albums,
good music, and
Well, and then back then too, I mean, with the NWA stuff, and then you had like Public Enemy comes on, and they were more of the militant style, fucking,
Yeah, they were the Black Panther type of rap.
Yep. Terminate X's.
But I mean, how much of that was real, and how much of that was an act?
Sure.
I mean, they were trying to tell, they were just saying what they felt.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it's maybe theater, but I mean, you got to think that those guys, I mean, I always felt like they were coming from a place where they were really trying to make a difference somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And that's always cool to see. And they always stuck with that. They were always true to that and never wavered. You know what I mean? And then they just kind of went away.
Yep.
And you never heard from them again.
Yep.
And that's okay.
Then there was
but
Flavor of Love.
nobody died. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Flavor Flav.
Yeah. Riding the Flavor wave. Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
So
yeah,
that might have been the one reason I didn't always take them too seriously.
Right. Yeah.
Flavor bouncing around with this
Yeah.
giant clock, but it was good entertainment, man, and I liked it.
Yeah.
You know, especially in that time, it was just so much different.
Yeah. You know what I love about hip hop? I mean, back in the day when we were coming up, there was so much sampling going on. And I always wondered, like, you know, where are these grooves coming from? And like going back into like the old man's records and like my mom's records, and you hear like all these, you know, like samples from P-Funk, like the Bop Gun that we played was, you know, so much George Clinton influenced and his style and that funk and that being on the one and that whole bounce of the groove, you know, and them being able to chop up that thing. I don't know if you ever seen there's a what is it called, The Get Down on Netflix? You ever watch any of that?
No.
It's like a fictional story, but it has like all of the main Cool Herc, and then it has Grandmaster Flash, and it has all these big hip hop guys and DJs and shit back in the day, and they use it like African Bambaataa one of them, Cool Herc, and then Grandmaster Flash were like the three big people in New York that threw these big parties, and then like African Bambaataa was like he was like a militant African fucking dude that threw these like hip hop parties, but they broke it down in the evolution of hip hop, where they would find what they called the get down, and what Grandmaster Flash would is he would find these break beats and these breakdown things, and he would mark it with a crayon, and that's where he would spin the record back to that point every time. So that boom boom ka, boom 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 ka, you know, and when it would go, and then back to that beat. So he would run that beat until that point again, and then he would fade in that other record.
Right.
But they talk about that in the Get Down, and they're like Grandmaster Flash is like the dojo master, you know, and there's one guy in the Get Down. It's a fictional story, but yet it's really, really cool.
Right.
And then you watch the evolution of hip hop, and they talk about that exact thing. Like they find these specific spots in these records where they would, you know, in African Bambaataa, they talked about he would use Blondie records, and he would use like these new wave and fucking Stooges, and you know the New York Dolls and all these weird fucking rock albums and punk albums, and he would spin them in with that shit and make these weird sounds. I always thought, God damn, how did they do that? And it's not like, you know, they didn't have samplers back then. Like they didn't push a button to get that shit. And then you listen to like Paul's Boutique from the Beastie Boys, and it is like every rock album you can imagine, from Ted Nugent to you know to fucking Led Zeppelin, and all these good rock breakdown beats, you know. And it just always blew me away. And I love listening to that old shit, and now knowing so much more about funk in my later years, and going, damn, that's a JB's. They stole that from James Brown. They stole that from P-Funk.
That's what I was going to say. That's just the stuff you recognize.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's so many other samples out there that, you know, you can listen to albums the rest of your life and never figure out what the hell they actually are.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of cool to pick up on that.
Yeah, just little snippets, man. And I love that shit.
Blows my mind.
Yeah, I had an MC on here, MC Rents on here, Pete Rents, a local guy, and we were talking about sampling records and stuff like that. And he said he still samples records, but what he does is he takes the groove and he actually plays it on the keyboard. So he'll sample one little riff like a drum beat, and he'll sample that, and then he'll turn it into something else. So it's actually this particular record, so you would never know that it was sampled from this record, because he's making beats out of existing beats. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's pretty
and
clever.
his shit is amazing, dude. Like the guy is super talented. He's got like tons and tons of material that he hasn't. I booked him for a show at Lee's, and it was like metal and rap mixed together. You know what I mean? And the shit that he was doing, dude, was just unbelievable, man. And he's got like 4 kids, you know, 3 or 4 kids or whatever. And I was like, dude, how do you fucking find the time to sit down and do the shit? And he's like, I
they're
work,
sleeping.
I smoke weed, and I make beats. You know what I mean? And write rhymes. That's what he does, and he's just fucking phenomenal at it. And it was like, you know, he played in a metal band and like went to rap and like did all this shit. It blows me away to see how people that creative mindset, man.
That's the beauty of music, man.
Yeah.
There's just no limits.
Yeah. Hip hop and EDM to me are just they're grabbing it out of the ether, you know what I mean? They like hear this beat from somewhere, and it's just like they turn it into, you know, I mean, some of that fucking dubstep shit, wah, 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 rah, rah, you know, and they're mixing it in with all these like hip hop beats. I mean, D'Antwoord's one of those groups too, where it's like you feel the techno groove behind it, but yet he's just throwing down some crazy shit. And then she's got that crazy little kid voice. It's just, what the fuck, man? You know, they're coming from left field, man.
Those guys kind of came out of nowhere, and it was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And it was just their shows, their live shows are just so intense, man.
Well, they're done now, dude. They're making one more album, I think, and then they're done. That's like that. They're gonna break it up as a group, because he actually had multiple groups before he became, you know, what D'Antwoord is now, and they recycled a lot of that stuff. You know, there's several songs on, you know, SOS and Tension and those things that they had used years before, you know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he had like a kind of like a Cypress Hill group for a little while. I can't remember the name of that one. He had kind of like a spoken word, weird like poetry one that had funky beats. Then he had Watkins Two Door Jones, which is actually his name is Watkins Two Door Jones. I've
heard quite a few there.
Yeah, and then they have another one that I can't remember what it is that went pretty big too with Tick 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 on it, and there's another one too. But yeah, that whole deal and them, you know, just the fucking the growth of that fucking group right there, man. And then they come up with the, you know, and become this whole nother persona, and their theatrics and the artwork and the things they use in their videos is just fucking bizarre to me.
Their
dude.
videos are insane, man. You sit down and watch one of those, you better be mentally prepared for that, because it's visually stimulating.
Freaky and I Like You a Lot. I saw that one first, and then I saw you know, Return to the Ninja or whatever, or what, I can't remember what it's called. What is it? I can't remember the Ninja tune. You know what I mean?
Right.
I am your butterfly. That tune, and then you know, Rich Bitch, and then fucking what else? What other one?
Their video's got some crazy darkness to it, man. They do. And it's cool. I like it. But they're very unique, and I've very happy that I stumbled upon them at some point.
Good shit, man. Good shit for sure. Well, man, it's getting late, and I know fucking we all got shit to do tomorrow. It's like almost 1 o'clock in the morning, so we'll.
This is my bedtime, like 4 hours ago.
Yeah, no shit, me too. Isn't it crazy how fucking we used to party till the break of dawn, and all of a sudden we're fucking old guys in bed by 8:30, 9 o'clock. And,
right, and up when the sun comes up. Now.
In the fucking cold. Yeah. We were up till the sun came up, and then tried to go to sleep, and now it's like we're trying to get to bed before fucking 10 o'clock before
the street
evening
lights
news.
come on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then
Well, you don't get in any trouble after 10 o'clock.
That's right.
Before
man.
10 o'clock.
That's right. And stay out of the streets, and you'll keep yourself clean for, you know. That's what I've learned is fucking don't be in that situation, and you're gonna be fine. You know.
That's right, man.
Even towing, dude. I remember being at some of them clubs and watching the fights happen, and fucking gunshots going off, being downtown, and you know, impounding cars out of fucking lots and getting chased by people and fucking macing people in the face. And dude, it was just crazy. I had to get away from it. I'm like, you know what? This is a fun job and it's a good skill to know, but I'm like, fuck this, man. It's too dangerous.
Right.
You know?
You're in no danger if you're not there. That's for sure.
Exactly.
So.
Get the fuck out of that shit. Well, we got one more tune to get out of here. Dude, I appreciate it so much to have you come in here.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll fucking definitely do this again. And
for sure.
We'll probably bring some other people, and I'm sure there'll be more stories uncovered that you know, that'll fucking
got a lot of empty seats here.
Surface and all that other good shit. But
for sure.
dude, it's been a long journey and a fucking exciting one to be friends with you for so long, and we've seen a lot together, and we're still here, and I can't say how happy I am that we've grown into adults finally.
The arduous journey.
Yeah, finally. You know, we're trying to be responsible with life. I mean, you kind of always have been, though. You know, I mean, even when you weren't working, you were still working, doing something. You know what I mean? And it's like, I rode that fucking rock star lifestyle till the wheels fell off. You know, I never thought at 45 years old that I would be in doing anything like this or any, you know what I'm saying? Like I figured, fuck, man, I'm not going to make it to 25. Once I hit 25, I'm like, I'm not going to make it to 30, and I'm 35, and now I'm here at 45. I'm like, holy fuck, how did I make it this far? Dude, So I guess landing on your feet, you know what I'm saying?
That's it. Just keep getting up.
Yeah,
doing
keep getting up.
Doing it better the next time.
Oh, yeah, dude.
So.
Yep.
Well, the pleasure's been all mine, man. I assure you. So let's gather again, and we'll.
Absolutely. We're gonna run out to some Busta Rhymes, doing a mix of Rick James in the Ghetto. One of my favorite tunes that I heard from Busta Rhymes. Busta Rhymes is one of those guys that I really, really dug right away when I heard his shit. Even on the old school Tribe Called Quest when he was, rah rah like a dungeon dragon. That shit was fucking coming down. I always wanted to know where that dude went when he was doing the leaders of the new school. Yeah. So it was like
he's had some interesting travels, but his flow is just electric, man.
Yeah. He's got that shit to make your head snap. That shit's fucking getting it.
Break your neck.
Yep, hell yeah. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. Episode 171 in the books. Like I said, do me a favor, check out ritualmanispodcast.com. I won't go through the whole spiel, but you know how to connect with us on the right side there. iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Make sure you download the Listen to My Radio app and click the Amazon deal, bookmark it, donate some stuff, submit your stuff to ritualmanispodcast@gmail.com. I will definitely play it. Maybe even have you in on a podcast. I love interviewing people. I love having people in here and just shooting the shit and talking about their endeavors and all that other good stuff. It's just something I really enjoy, and I know that it's been really paying off these last couple years, and people are seeming to really enjoy it. So I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate everybody listening and tuning in and spreading the word and all that other good shit. And thank you very much, and have a good night.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual Madness Podcast. Ritual